Gets more cold this time of year. The sun is hidden far from here. I wonder how I might atone. It's been a year since I left home. The wind is blowing faster now. I'm searching though I don't know how. There was a time I used to know. I lost my bearings long ago. And all this time, well, it's my imagination, my fading inspiration that dances in my mind, and it's a crime. Oh, that my imagination, my own interpretation, should lead me down this road, and I know where to go. To find my travels as
Define those travels as you can and what travels they have been. What's going on, everybody? Welcome, Goglings, Gogorifics, Gog peoples, Goggers of the world, unite. And welcome to a Tuesday. It is March 12th. Can you believe that we are just about to mid-March already, which is hard to believe? Welcome to episode 415 of Pen and Pixels. I am your host, Arvin Elleron. This is the show that we do every Tuesday from approximately 4 to approximately 7 p.m. Eastern, focusing on story and narrative in games. And we got something new that we're doing today, and that is the Sovereign Syndicate game. I am excited about this. I've actually been looking forward to playing this for a few weeks because I saw some details about it, and I was like, you know what, this game looks like it might be up my alley, and I was like, I want to give this a shot, and so now I am giving it a shot. I am very excited to give it a try, and excited to see how it goes. So thank you to GOGCOM as always for the code that I'm going to be using. And yeah, I'm excited to give it a shot and see how this goes. Before we go any further, just a couple of reminders about ways. Hi, Pyron. I hope you're doing okay. Ways to support the channel. If you have not done so already, please make sure to follow the channel here on GOG. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to us here on GOGCOM's Twitch channel. And if you have not, so you can get those custom sub badges and emotes to use here, there, and everywhere across Twitch. And if you haven't done so already, please consider as well clicking through and checking out all of our individual channels, because we have our own individual subsystems and Patreons and all that kind of good stuff as well. So today, next week, we're going to be playing, this week and next week, we're playing a new game. I finished Dredge last week, loved Dredge a lot. And I thought about, I'm like, yeah, maybe I could do the cold, whatever it was, the far reach, the northern reach, the pale reach. That's what it is. I was like, maybe I could do the pale reach. I'm like, I really have been having fun with Dredge, but I want to give it a little bit of a rest. I may come back to do the DLC at some point in the future. But for right now, I want to try something different after playing Dredge. And so we're going to play Sovereign Syndicate today. In 3 weeks, I should say, I will be, or no, 2 weeks now, I beg your pardon. In 2 weeks, I will be playing some Ghosts of Saltmarsh with the crew, and maybe we'll have some even further information for you regarding that crew, he said archly. I don't know, maybe. But anyway, that'll be in a couple of weeks. But at least this week and next week, we've got Sovereign Syndicate going on. Now, let me talk just a little bit about what I know about the game and why I was interested in it. Whoops, sorry. I thought I had my camera on and I did not. 1 second. There we are. Hey, I exist. There we are. Sorry about that. Just a couple of notes about this game. So, Sovereign Syndicate came across my radar screen because I was looking for some RPG stuff, and I found some details about this game called Sovereign Syndicate, which was, from what I can tell, inspired or at least very much adjacent to a game like Disco Elysium. Now, a lot of people love Disco Elysium. My problem with Disco Elysium is that it is a lot, folks. It is like 80 hours of nothing but text. No, I'm kidding. It's not quite that bad, but it is almost a little bit oppressive to me. But everyone raves about the writing and how great it is and all that stuff. And I'm sure that's true. And it's one of those things that when I have an uninterrupted 2 months to do nothing but this, Maybe I'll come back to it. But this struck me exactly more hours. But this actually is a game that I think is more along the lines of something which, first of all, it's shorter. Somewhere in the order of 12 to 14 hours is what they estimate. And secondly, the sort of universe and the world of it seems very cool to me. A Victorian steampunkish world with a top hat wearing drunken Minotaur wizard as one of the main characters. I was like, that's all sounds really impressive to me. Not to mention the fact that it has also got a tarot card system in which instead of using dice, you use these tarot cards and your skill tree to kind of make decisions and kind of move the game forward. So I am excited to give that a shot. And I'm looking forward to something which is, and if you love your first playthrough, you can choose a different character for your second playthrough. Yeah. So that, right. I've heard that too. So I've heard that there are some cool aspects of this. Now, I have not played the game myself, obviously, and I don't believe the game has been streamed here on GOG.com, or if it has, I don't recall it. But I want to give it a shot and actually see how it goes. So I'm very grateful, of course, as always, to Pyron Jaden. I'm very grateful to GOG.com for gifting a code. This is the Digital Deluxe Edition, although really the Digital Deluxe Edition basically just has some artwork and then it includes the soundtrack as well. But the game is the same way. It hasn't been streamed. Okay, cool. So this is going to be a premiere, so to speak, of this game here on the channel, and I am excited for it. So I have installed it. Everything looks good to go. I have not, however, launched to play it yet. So when I do that, I'm probably going to have to make an adjustment in where, or I may need to make an adjustment in where Twitch chat goes and where my camera goes and all that stuff, and probably I'm going to have to make some adjustments in the volume and stuff like that. So maybe a little bit loud when we get started. I will fix that and take care of it. So a lot to read, but much easier than Discord easier. And let me be clear. I mean, I'm an author and a professor by trade, so I mean, I do love me some reading. But man, it's hard from a streaming perspective to be playing a game where you have that much reading all the time. Like my voice team, the Vocalists, who is going to be playing, by the way, on my channel tonight, the Banner Saga 3, another GOG game. They do voiceovers of these things, and that's fine because there you've got people that are literally professional voice actors voicing these things and doing so as a group, and it's just kind of a different vibe. I love doing voices for my playthroughs, and I love doing, I love stuff that has a meaty role-playing mix. Like role-playing games are my favorite type of games, but if there's a game that's that dense textually, it does feel after a while like the audience just drifts away because they're like, oh my God, I can't anymore with this. So having a game which is a little bit more manageable with that might actually work better in terms of streaming one way or the other. So I'm excited about that. Select a random recommended book from Bookshelf for 20K GOG points. Wait a minute now. What is this? Now, hi, Lost Edge. Hey, Drew. Well, yes, that's true. But still, though, Pyron, it's a lot, though. I mean, it's kind of a lot of just let me watch a movie almost as much as playing a game. I mean, that's true. It is now fully voiced, but still. So am I selecting a random recommended book? Is that a thing? Is that a thing that we're doing? I will happily pick a book from the shelf. Let's see. All right, let me grab one from the shelf behind me. Now, wait, actually, very important. Is this a game? Is this a book from this shelf? Because this shelf here is all of my TTRPG stuff. This is all my RPG stuff. So we talking about that, Lost Edge? Or are you talking about a book from my shelves in my office? Because I have probably about 1,000 books or so in my office. You want me to do that? Or do you want me to go with the TTRPG? I can pick any shelf? Okay. Let's see. Yes, my whole attic is my office. That is true. Okay, here we go, Lost Edge. Let me go back to my main screen for a second. I have chosen this. It is a Wizard of Earthsea. I love this drawing, by the way. It is a Wizard of Earthsea. This is Ursula K. Le Guin, and it happens to be the book that I am teaching right as we speak in my fantasy fiction class. A Wizard of Earthsea, before there was Harry Potter, there was a much better writer than J.K. Rowling. Did I say that out loud? There was a Wizard of Earthsea. There was Ursula K. Le Guin writing the Earthsea trilogy, which later on became a quadrilogy because of the addition of Tehanu. This was originally also for younger people, technically, but it is a wonderful, wonderful book. And all three of the books, which go, it's this one, and then the Tombs of Atuan, and then the Farthest Shore. They're all amazing, and they all follow the life of this dude right here, Ged, who is a young mage, and this is his encounter with the Dragon of Pendor, which is really amazing, that whole description of it. These are great, great, great books. They tell the story of a young, arrogant wizard who has great power, but doesn't know how to channel it yet, and who makes a terrible mistake that almost destroys him and his process of redemption. It tells the story of a school of wizards on Roke. Before we got any kind of Hogwarts, there was Roke. It also happens to be it's an archipelago book. It's a book about an archipelago. And the people here are culturally accurate and anthropologically accurate because Ursula Le Guin had a degree in anthropology, so that the people in here, in fact, even this drawing is not, let me see, is it? Maybe. It's a little bit hard to tell. But this has a lot of people who are, in fact, most of the people in the book are of color. Ged himself is described as being copper brown of skin and being a person of color, which is why when Sci-Fi got a hold of it and decided to make Ged white, zero reason to do that. Most of the people in here, in fact, are darker skinned or brown skinned, and they are people of color. It was a representational, in a way, fantasy too, which was for high fantasy very unusual at the time when it came out. Highly, highly, highly recommend this book. The diction, and I'll read you, I'm just going to read you this one part, then we're doing Sovereign Syndicate. I'm just going to read you this one quote, which has stayed with me for a long time. When Ged makes the decision to leave, and I can't tell you what exactly this is about because I would spoil it for you, and that would be unfortunate. He says he had, thank you for the follow on my channel. He says, even as the shadow had not been able to let me try that again. Even as the shadow had not quite been able to catch up with him and seize him, so the stone had not been able to use him, not quite. He had almost yielded, but not quite. He had not consented. It is very hard for evil to take hold of the unconsenting soul. Like, that line is maybe my favorite in the entire book. It is very hard for evil to take hold of the unconsenting soul. And it's followed up with, he stood between the two who had yielded, who had consented, looking from one to the other. Just brilliant. Just brilliant. It's great, great stuff. And of course, Ursula Le Guin is famous for many other books, Left Hand of Darkness and The Dispossessed and all that. There's a whole bunch of ones. But this series, from a fantasy point of view, is amazing. So, taken off the shelf. This is what I read when I was younger. It's also what I now teach students myself, which is this first book, A Wizard of Earthsea. Highly recommend it. It's also not a very long book. This is 183 pages. The print is small, but still, it's not a long book. So very, very cool. Highly recommend. Definitely would recommend you picking it up. It's good stuff. Okay. So there you go. Thank you for redeeming Lost Edge. That's good stuff. Yes, well, and I mean, I could have been cheeky, Lost Edge, and I could have gotten one of my own books from the shelf and been like, oh, it's funny you mentioned that. Look, Grey Shade, a book about a dark assassin, dark fantasy assassin. I could have been cheeky and gotten one of my own books because my books are longer than what I'm talking about here. But I didn't want to be a jerk like that. I instead chose a legend in the field. May I someday be considered even vaguely in the same degree as that. Thank you very much, Triffid. And may I be considered somewhere in that stratosphere. That would be a great honor for me. But yeah, if you like longer books, I obviously have a lot of those over there too. But this is amazing. Yeah, that's very cool, Pyron. That's very cool that we started that. That you started that today. How is the audiobook? Is it any good? HP is not the best writing. It's an awesome playground with a yeah. Oh, interesting effect life. I see what you're saying about that. Yeah. It's just there's just other people without also some of, I won't get into this here, but like just Rowling's problematic views are also an issue as well. But and there's other authors who do what she does, I think, as well or better. Although I still have taught, her work as part of like connecting it with Lord of the Rings, often because people are like, wow, Lord of the Rings is so much more comprehensive. I'm like, that's right. But as far as fan fiction is fine. I think fan fiction it can be a very good way to actually, if you're writing it, fan fiction is a very good way to be able to practice. It's a very good way to be able to develop your own sense of writing style. A lot of people, pretty much everybody, starts by writing by imitation the work of other people. And so if you're doing fan fiction and you're playing in other people's playgrounds, that's a lot of fun. And it can be really enjoyable, and it can teach you good writing skills for sure. And I think as far as reading it is concerned, it can also be really enjoyable. I've read some solid fan fiction, which is a lot of fun, that's sort of set in the same universe as something else, and you get a chance to see that, and it's great. I do have to say that as an author myself, pretty much every author will tell you that authors do not want you to send fan fiction of their work to them. They don't want you to send it to them. They don't want to hear. I mean, they're happy to hear that it exists, but they don't want you to send it to them or let other people know about them. And the reason has nothing to do with copyright. It's because they do not want any situation where if a story comes up and there's an idea for that story which is similar to what you saw in fan fiction, they don't want any situation of someone being able to come and sue and say, hey, you stole my idea. So that's why every author that I know is pretty much like, please go have fun. It's awesome that you're doing fan fiction. I love to see that. But please don't send me any of it. That said, like illustrations or like, stuff in that kind of, things like the visual arts or, things of that nature, dances, like stuff that's sort of inspired by Light and Passion was once kind enough to send us some dice, these sparkly dice with almost looked like metal flakes inside it that he had made that was inspired by the encounter of one of my campaigns, my Eberron campaign, with these like crystalline creatures in the gray in the Mournland in the morning. And so that was amazing. Like I love stuff like that. So we love to see stuff like that. But as far as the actual writing of it, it's cool that it exists, but please don't send it to us because it could get us in trouble. That's why. Yeah. No, it's good stuff. Oh, that's cool, Pyron. You want to learn how to be an author where you're taking classes? Yes, indeed. So anyway, yes, that was an enjoyable way to begin that I was not expecting. Twist my arm, talk about writing. All right, let's see how the writing is in this, folks. Press play. Let's get rolling with Sovereign Syndicate. Canada Media Fund. Is this funded by the Canadians? Crimson Herring Studios. Okay. I like the film grain.
Discover a world of magic and steam technology.
Okay. Probably.
An alternate London where mythical creatures coexist with humans.
Sounds good. I'm in.
Explore the city's East End and get to know its inhabitants.
All right. All about it.
There are powerful figures here with enough wealth and station to bend the city to their will.
Okay. Good.
But be careful. The Docklands aren't for the faint of heart.
Okay. Be careful the Docklands. Airships, baby. Okay. All right, let's see. Always run. Ultra quality. Okay. It's interesting. They start the master volume at 60, or at 75 rather, which is cool. All right, how's the volume, chat? Yes, there is an anime based on it, which I have not seen yet, but I've heard good things about it. How's the volume, everyone? I like that. Wait, did I see something on Twitch? Wow. You can actually, when you're connected and the extension is enabled on your stream, viewers will be able to vote on dialogue options and keep up with your game stats. I'm not going to do that now, but that's really cool, actually. It's a good sign. Okay. Display. Do we have... I hope that means that we just automatically have captions. Nah, I want to at least, play the game on my own and get a sense of it first. Okay, new game. All right, Atticus Daly. Follow Atticus Daly as he explores the seedy underbelly of London's East Docklands in search of his mother, a reason for living, and his next fix. Okay. So, let's see. Archetype selection. Okay, Atticus is a prisoner to the voices in his mind, giving into his vices, surrendering to base urges, or being forced to reflect on a life gone wrong. Which voice speaks loudest? Is it animal instinct, blaming his fiery temper and his minotaur blood? He embraces intimidation in combat, swearing he has a handle on his vices. So +8. Animal instinct is the sum of your gut feelings, urges to indulge, efforts to survive. Mayhem, brawling, blackout, gin binges, damn the consequences, let fisticuffs do the jawing. Okay. Spryness is in favor of sizing up a situation first. Be wary of rushing in before you know of other people's intentions. Leverage your street smarts for lockpicking, pickpocketing, stealth, and deception. Okay. And then wit relies on facts and cerebral labor to make sense of the world. Tap into your intelligence, learn from your past experiences. An informed mind sheds light on London's troubled surfaces. Okay. Major arcana is a chariot, and you can assert yourself without lifting a finger. Okay, so that's animal instinct. Spryness. As a magician, he's trained in escape tricks and sleight of hand. He's light-footed and nimble for a minotaur. We already saw spryness and animal instinct. Self-discipline is... favors restraint over vice. In a world of fiery tempers, cooler heads prevail. Wailing away on the troublesome ne'er-do-wells of London may blind you to the peaceful path. Oh, the on-screen chat? Oh, okay. Let me check that, and I will see what it looks like when we actually get into it, but I'll keep that in mind. Stealth and deceit are second nature. You fool the world of London with your cunning and subterfuge. Maybe. Wit. Rationality suits him in a world that's unforgiving. He meets challenges with a silver tongue and understands basic machinery. Okay. Wit relies on facts, cerebral labor to make sense of the world. Oh, we talked about this. Self-discipline and animal instinct. Okay. Traits. Self-reliant. You're well-suited to coming up with solutions on your own. So far, I like this one the best. Self-discipline. He grew up in a crowded orphanage using illusory magic to disguise himself as a human. He moderates his urges and keeps a cool head. Ooh, wait a minute. Self-discipline, wit, spryness, no, this is the answer. Is the answer right here. Man is least himself when he talks as an own person. Give him a mask and he will tell you the truth. A dark shape looms over you. Against the guttering lamplight, the black shadowed form hovers unsteadily like a cutout in a magic lantern. You can't be sure whether it's a real living thing or another grim manifestation from your week-long bender, which at first blush you appear to have survived. Or is it the face of death come to claim you? In any case, the specter seems to be in no hurry to move along. Painful memories prick your gin-addled brain. Now you recall why you're here. You chose this alleyway in London's East End to drown the last of your days in drink. Well, if this apparition isn't the angel of death, then even at suicide you've failed. Old crone. Okay, yeah, so I gotta move this. I shall move it. There we go. Perfect. Old woman. Man, sorry. Atticus! He's coming! Wake up! Get out of... I need to think of a good voice for Atticus. Get out of my head, you old crone. Atticus Daly. Nothing but a... Interesting. So wit is what detected this. Nothing but a dark silhouette for a face. No, it's a mask. Self-reflection. His voice is cold and mechanical, like the hinge of a heavy iron door, concealing his identity, no doubt. All right, let me try to speak. Oh, interesting. Okay, so when I do this, I hover over it. It shows me very easy skill check. So 17 discipline versus 18 self-discipline. So I have a 94% chance of getting it. All right. +1 phlegm.
Who are you?
Instead of a response, he proffers me, and it helpfully tells me to offer, a tin stippled flask. A small kindness. Nah. Very well then. Suit yourself. Stowing the flask, the stranger leans back into the dim light of the gas lamps. I can finally see his features in full. He wears a brass-buttoned traveling waistcoat, complete with a scarlet hood and a mask of ornate gold panels. It glitters in the gaslight, delicately crafted. Finery, which is clothing, especially when well made. Finery like I've never seen. On your feet now, you sorry sight. Dizzy from the head rush, it's hard to keep my balance.
Who are you? And what do you want with me?
A friend in need of your services. A friend? But a man of his station, one social record position, so deep in the docklands spells trouble. Misery acquaints a man with strange bedfellows.
I need a moment to get my bearings.
Fair enough, but I'll be watching. The stranger pulls back his waistcoat, showing off a gilded flintlock pistol, which is a firearm. Pick up your cane sword. Over the years, many a minge bag, a despicable person, have come to collect. This barmy naff, unstable or mentally unwell, is no different. The masked stranger. So many outstanding debts and foregone second chances. Is it all catching up to me? He can try like all the others, but none have yet succeeded. +5 hope. That's as may be, but if you keep going on this way, it's only a matter of time. Try looking for a way out, perhaps through that padlocked door over there. Pick up your cane sword and hold fast to your sanity. As you play, you'll accumulate humors. When a humor bar is filled, the associated attribute will increase by 1. Each humor is related to an aspect of your being and will increase the more you indulge or exercise that part of you. Phlegm, yellow bile. Phlegm was for self-discipline. Yellow bile, black bile, and blood. So, an animal instinct is influenced by yellow bile. Swords is the minor tarot suit. Primal energy, intuition, ambition, and expansion, as well as courage and ferocity. There's wit. Black bile, 0 out of 10. Self-discipline, though. I got a phlegm, I know. Calm and reserved personality, leading its possessors towards patience and a dampening of emotions. Delicious humors, resulting in a slow and detached worldview. And then the cup suit symbolizes empathy and compassion. Yep. Blood is spryness. Self-reflection. A deep voice within you, impartially observing your circumstances without giving direct advice. Self-reflection calls attention to the mistakes you are doomed to repeat if you fail to listen to it. Male, right down to the marrow, you identify as a man. Your burly self attracts stares and trouble from specious Londoners. You bear a few tricks and spells up your sleeves. You're down on many things, including your luck and socioeconomic status. Only debts to London's gangs seem to fill your pockets. And you've trained in magic to make others see what isn't there. Okay. And then temperament is a measure of my character's will and motivation, an indicator of their general outlook on life. I am currently weary. Okay. Save. New save. Okay. In my journal, pick up your cane sword. The chatter of my mind is enough by itself, and now there's a crone chiming in. What is she doing here, and how did she get in my head? In my head. Get the cane sword. Explore the world around you to discover helpful items on your journey. East London hides many secrets. Press and hold the Highlight Hotspots button. Tab by default to highlight areas of interest. Okay. An evening cane concealing a steel blade in a cherrywood sheath. Below the brass figurehead is a band of crushed velvet. Love me a sword cane. It's good stuff. Battle scarred with a well-worn handle. And suitable in aristocratic circles. Is he taking it with me? I should really keep better track of my belongings, even on a gin bender. Okay. What? What? Oh. What the heck? Gotta make sure not to hit shift, or I'm going to be triggering some galaxy. Alright, newspaper. The Illustrated London News, this week's edition. A fleet-footed journalist takes to the East End, underground and undercover. The hard-boiled scoop on the courtesan killer. Who's really behind the murders, and what is Scotland Yard, headquarters buildings of the Metropolitan Police, still hiding from the public? Read on for the gory details. This story will boil your blood. Let's ponder the news. Your inner voices are at odds. When you choose one voice over another, this changes the balance of your humors. Over time, these voices become stronger. Interesting. So +1 black bile. Oh, okay, so that's more towards my wit than my self-discipline, but I have both. So it's London?
Hazards of the job, I suppose.
But it's a shame. No one deserves to die like that.
That's true, and I've kept their company before. It could have been an acquaintance of mine.
Ariana?
It's entirely possible.
Dolly's being hunted. It is rather curious.
I'm no police special, but I'll see what I can find.
Yeah, I'm going to look into the murders. Padlocked door and liquor bottles. Let's take a look at these. Genever, which is a Dutch spirit distilled from malt wine and flavored with juniper. Really? I'm going to need some honey soon, I know, right? Hey, Darth Sisu. What do you think? Are those with Dutch backgrounds in my chat? You heard of Genever, a Dutch spirit? Rotgut, I've heard of. And dry gin bottles are strewn about, broken and empty. Wager those are remnants of a day drowned in sorrow. Feels like ages ago. Oh, I can't choose self-reliant.
What's left of my stash?
It's worth a closer look. Look through the bottles or self-discipline. Let me look through the bottles. To make a skill check, you will draw a card from one of the 4 minor arcana decks. Each deck contains cards numbered from 1, the ace, to 14, the king. They also contain the world, which will always succeed a skill check, and the fool, which will always fail and then reshuffle the deck. So cups is for calmness and discipline, wands is for mental feats or sharp wit, swords is for physical force, intimidation, or instinct, coins is for spryness, joy, or energy. There's a gin collection goal, really? Success.
Ah, saving the best for last. A bottom of old Tom.
Okay, here's my inventory. Okay, I'm not going to drink more for hope right now. Okay, I should keep my ear to the ground. Right. Can I quick save? Yes, I can. Thing is a little is screen tearing. I got to see about the aliasing. A slatted wooden basket made from hazel cuttings. Willow branches weave around the bottom for support. Might belong to someone in the tenements. I can smell the rotting fish from here several days past its prime.
Let's have a look.
White strips of flesh swimming in a pool of decomposition. Kippered herring? Alright, let's open it. Ah! I failed. Temperament is a representation of your character's mental state, progressing from desperate, weary, content, optimistic to hopeful. Your choices can change your character's temperament. Certain dialogue choices are only available based on your temperament score. I got +1 phlegm and -10 hope. Knocked back to my haunches, there's a lingering rotten meat stench in my mouth. Gulping at the cool air, I find my footing well away from that rancid basket. Well, damn it. Okay. What was I just going to do? Oh, I wanted to check graphics. Is there... I was thinking there might be like an anti-aliasing thing or something. Because it was definitely screen tearing. Yeah, it's definitely doing that. Or, sorry, that's what I meant. Yeah, sorry, VSync. I didn't mean anti-aliasing. You're right, VSync. But I don't actually even see it here, so... Let me just check something quickly. No, it doesn't have any effect. Frame rate limit? I mean... No, doesn't do anything. Unlimited power. It's still like, it's like stuttering occasionally is what it's doing. Mechanical odds and ends shimmering in the gaslight. Worth a little tin if you deal him to an engine man. A little gather.
Might prove useful.
Containment fence. Military grade, reinforced with barbed wire. The sign reads, Werewolf Containment Zone in luminescent paint. Electric bolts are between the fence posts. The smoky ozone scent flooding your nostrils. Oh yeah, no, it wasn't a bad idea. It just didn't seem to do anything. Worth a look around, might be another way through. So, interestingly, if my temperament is weary or worse, and it is, then I can just charge straight through it. But I'm not going to do that. Let me do wit. Can't make heads or tails of this in the dark. Besides, I'm no engineer. Alright, I'll come back. It's like stuttering a little bit, is the way I would describe it. Julie and Bertram O'Brien, orphans missing from Sacred Heart Orphanage. Small reward furnished upon any information leading to their safe return. Please have a heart for our poor children. The Sisters of the Sacred Heart, 22 Cherry Wine Lane, East End, London. Alms accepted. I remember this place. But I'd rather not think about it. A brother and sister gone missing from where I was brought up. Being an orphan myself, should I be the one to investigate? Oh, sorry. I should have said, being an orphan myself, should I be the one to investigate? There are unsettled spirits in the Docklands, and like it or not, I play a part in their pageantry. Hopefully not, as some marionette with strings to pull for their amusement. Then I should leave no cobble unturned. Yeah, we're going to search for the missing orphans.
Something's not right here, and orphans in the Docklands need all the help they can get.
It's locked until later? Okay. Hello, vagrants. 3 rootless souls taking their ease in the heat of a steam vent, one of the few free comforts to be had in old London town. This one is Poe Pickett. Drifts around the city so much it's hard not to know him. Might not remember me, though.
Bother now. That's that landlord. Bloody me, refuses to fix the heat in my abode. Them mutton shunters cast me out on the bricks like flicking a net off a sleeve.
The unfortunate's companions huddle for warmth, their tattered garments splashed with ale stains. These men are dusty, perpetually so.
Not that I miss the old cores, no. With the endless boiler troubles, 'twas not much warmer in there than out here.
He looks at me askance. Wager his mood still needs thawing.
Oi, horns! If you're not hounding out hot meals, bugger off. Talking like stinking, and I ain't got a lot of that to spare in case you didn't notice.
Jeez, I'm just trying to help you out, bro. The stranger stands with a loose grip on his flintlock. Right then, you ruddy sight, let's get going. We'll need you batting on a full wicket. Should I let him ragdoll me around East London? Don't tell me what to do. Damn it. With my stature, I should get the best of him. Whoa, what is this? Still, it's a question of speed and dexterity. I make a pass for the flintlock revolver on his waist. But he's too fast. He catches my wrist where the bones are delicate. Retching my elbow in the opposite direction, I can only hope not to be crippled. You can't shake me off. I'm not one of your debts. A cloud of sudden fear drains color from the world. This cove has seen combat, and the lives that he robbed in the battlefield are somehow shimmering in its eyes, letting me know he would kill again. I'm getting crushed on hope here. Whatever thoughts were crossing my mind are frozen in place. Like watching a busy intersection warp into slow motion and then hold entirely still, I cannot even think about what it means to think.
Fine then, I'll go along willingly. But if I'm to meet my end, please spare me the pain of it.
I'm glad we understand each other. Where are you taking me? Dude, it's like the 5th failure in a row. What the hell? -5 hope. What am I at now? 5 desperate.
I'd rather not suffer any more than I have to. But at some point you'll tell me what you're planning.
There's no time for dawdling.
Bellend, he hasn't any conscience.
If it seems like London left you behind, humor me for the evening. Otherwise, I'll deliver the bounty on your head and I won't have wasted any time. Your headache rages with a fierce second wind, and every step is a hammer and nail in your psyche. The stranger's reckless pace only makes matters worse, his arm like a vice grip, dragging you down a maze of twisted alleyways until at last a string of paper lanterns appears, buoys in a sickening sea of night, the cherry glow of Red Lantern Lane. Within waves of jasmine and sandalwood incense, memory washes fear away. This might be the only place that could convince you to keep on living, even just for a night. The gas mantle above the door fills you with fondness, cleansing the rust of your mind-gouging hangover. You've arrived at the Red Lotus Den, the only place you've ever felt at home. No need to be pulled along now. You go inside willingly. Happy now? Body aches, persistent nausea. From a physical standpoint, I'm barely holding together. Allow me to rephrase. Have you ever been happy? Can't say that I have, but I've gotten close to it here. Withdrawals. They can muddle our heads and make us weak. Don't worry, you'll feel better soon. Towels and bathrobes disarrayed in cubbies. Away from prying eyes, a fine place for a change of appearance. To do. Cast my illusion. Glad something succeeded. Sight from the fire, hearing from the ether, smell from the air, and taste from the water. Touch down to the earth in another form.
Let's play it safe for the time being. No need for any confrontation.
Well, now I just look like a guy. I just look like a regular dude. Steaming bath awaits your tired bones. Wouldn't it be good to get cleaned up? Yes, it would. Give me some hope.
How about not smelling like vomit and cane rats? We shan't offend the ladies.
+1 blood, +10 hope. There we go. Now I'm still desperate, but... Get another 10 hope. Nope, that's the only one. A brass lintel mahogany bar lined with candles, casting eerie shadows in the centaur behind it. His equine muck sweat cuts through the smell of incense. Careful there. Centaurs are known to have short fuses, especially at long hours in service occupations. Some centaurs have been kind to me. I won't pass judgment till he proves me wrong. How about Mr. Browncoat? He's rather unique. Aye, Bixie Browncoat, the owner here at the Lotus. Most nights he's waiting at the bar, so I hope he hasn't taken ill. Wait around when Bixby will show up. Fortune favors the bold. There we go. But he could be gone a while. Must be the press of business drawing him away from the front of the house. The centaur leers, his misshapen chin a shelf for his cigarette, judging from a jangle of bad teeth.
Didn't see you come in. How can I help?
Entrance to the Lotus, please.
I'll have to check the list. Where did Bixby say it was?
Out trots Mr. Browncoat, surely come to see what the fuss is about. He wears a long-faced countenance, of course he does, a gold pocket watch, and a lavender-tinted pince-nez on his aquiline nose. Yep. Despite his careful preening, the turbulence of a life lived in the margins shone on his face. Now here's Atticus. Bouncer appears to roll his eyes while lighting a fresh cigarette. Glad to see you, Bixby. Actually,
Glad to see you, Bixby.
and you as well, Atticus. I'm glad to see you brought us a brand new customer. Now then, paradise awaits beyond the curtain. Bixby ushers you through the door and leads the way down the back stairs, the stranger on your heels like a stubborn shadow. The red lotus is draped in a haze of pale smoke, dotted with flickering candles and incense glowing like cinders in the night. The smell of burning opium is dark and rich, like a batch of floral biscuits with a sharp afterbite. The pale red glow from the Chinese lanterns paints the space in perpetual twilight. It's easy to lose track of time within these walls, whiling away your days in a blissful waking dream. Looks like we got a steam robot over there, too. There you go. All right. Opiomaniac. What's that gear clattering racket? A jet of steam cuts through the quiet of the den. Curious machine. I wonder how it works. It's got an Arsenal heart drum. That's a top-flight boiler. Ball and socket legs and pressurized feet. There's nothing run-of-the-mill about it. Sorry there. Didn't mean to startle you. Off it goes, heading for the private section. And where'd that masked stranger get off to? I know, right? A sleeping poppy head is draped over a mattress in the corner, drooling idly onto his shirt. Fancy that, an errant wallet is poking up out of the corner of his slacks. It yearns to be free. His wrist's right over it, though. This'll be a risky lift. Nah, hands are feeling a little shaky. Sticks of heady incense waft in the air, always burning no matter the flow of customers. Okay. Two workmen blissfully free of the waking world. When they wake, I should hope they'll be refreshed. Yeah, I'm getting my hope back. 15, still desperate. But it's better than the uber desperate where I was before. A sturdy yet musty old bookshelf. The spines show such titles as Arcane Magic on the Eastern Edge of Ruin, Opium Through the Ages, and Parlor Games, Love in the Dream Time.
Evening, stranger.
The dwarf has a warm and amiable look with a set of crystal blue eyes, sharply intelligent, and a red mustache that's so full it could crawl off his face and build a cocoon. His beard is elegantly braided in the common style. I finger the brass rings in my own goatee, which is coarse and stringy by comparison.
How do you do?
Just fine. Some kind of inventor, are you? Aha, I'm up to level 16 in wit.
Aye, name's Theodore Redgrave, Brotherhood of Boffins. But call me Teddy, most people do.
Boffins, eh? Your automaton has got a name. You invent things, gadgets, and the like. Rickety Gizmo scared me witless. Look like Tinkery type. Boffins, eh?
Oh, yes. A Royal Society funds all kind of industrial research nowadays. There's a brotherhood for every branch of science, but I'm with the DA, Division for Automatons.
Your automaton, has it got a name?
This here's Otto. Perfectly friendly he is, if a little odd.
Stands to reason, although who among us isn't a little odd?
Struth if I've heard it. What can I call you, sir? Atticus Daly.
Teddy pats the automaton with his fat paw. Mr. Daly, from the both of us, it's a pleasure. Otto's going to need some tweaks before the brawls, but we'll have him fit as a fiddle by then. Otto's a brawler, aye? So far, he's only watched from the sidelines, but someday he'll fight with the other battle traps. No emotion from the automaton, of course, but one can't help but wonder how it feels about all of this.
See, I'm a hunter of red beast and monster. After the werewolf fights, these outlaw wretches are all tatterdemalion. Much easier to take in for a bounty. Only 3 days ere the moon is full-bellied. Better have a good mind to who you're betting on.
Been in my fair share with pit fights, or that's quite an occupation, must never be a dull moment.
That's true. I just knew you were a man of culture. And that's on top of having the same kind of stature I look for in a cove eager to be on my docket while partaking in pit fights.
A fetching offer, though I don't want to commit just yet. Besides, a stranger wouldn't want me to led astray by such endeavors. He strikes me as the kind of fellow who would cross oceans and deserts while giving chase to his quarry. Wait a moment, if I had a little scrap to sell, would you be interested? And sure, those cogs are worth a bit of sterling. Okay, so 6 silver added to inventory. You're doing business. Take care, Teddy. Okay. All right. Another gentle customer on a journey to the land of Nod. Another chicken asking to get plucked. Perhaps I'll have a riffle through his pockets. 53, barely over half. Didn't get it. When he decides to turn over, I've got my hand buried in his jacket pocket and can't quite draw it out in time. He raises his eyes with glacial slowness as if lifting 100-weighted potatoes. Oh no. He seems to blearily regard me for several awkward moments, but then sinks again into slumber. Oof. Perhaps I'm not the deft hand I used to be. Lattice wooden screens, what's up, iSense, and high-backed seating provide some comfort and privacy for those that can afford it. The booths are made of a luxurious calf leather. Calf leather! My poor brothers and sisters' skin for a creature comfort. The leather is well-oiled and plush with dimpled riveting. Delicate china and exclusive menus of the den's offerings are available here for those of a more discerning taste. Sees I'm in for a treat on account of the stranger's pocketbook, as fat as a Christmas goose. Let's show a little restraint. Surely he didn't bring me here for the elevated conversation and pleasure of my company. Better be on my guard. Could have already killed me, collected my bounty. Didn't guess him out. Angle. Yeah.
Could have already killed me and collected all my bounty, but he didn't. I guess I should air him out.
It's worth seeing what he's after.
Infuriating, but I can't keep the crone from intruding.
Okay. Can't help the crone from intruding. Stranger's waiting. Okay. Crime does not pay.
Let's get on with this.
The menu is embossed with an array of oral morphines, liquid and powder cocaines, and all manner of midnight oil. Teddy seems an interesting chap, and the automaton is quite something, isn't it?
Bugger the small talk. Why'd you bring me here?
You've got plenty of time for explanations. Why don't we start with a sample of some of the den's wares? Careful now, he's obviously trying to curry favor, although it would be good to loosen up.
With so many dear poisonous variations, it's hard to decide what hit the spot.
I must say I'm impressed with your discretion. I would have thought just any fix would do. Thanks, I suppose, but I know it's not from the kindness of your heart. Oh, that was Atticus, sorry. Delicious. We'll see if you sing the same tune when it's said and done. Now then, when you think about the entree, I'll prepare the appetizer. Takes a small tablet out of his shirt sleeve, cracks it in half, and drops it into my teacup. The other half goes into his own. Can't expect me to drink that.
You can't expect me to drink that.
Half and half, an equal dose. I wouldn't kill us both now, would I?
Even so, I'll pass.
Not your cup of tea? How about some white winolation? You must be fond of that one. His light-hearted confidence seems like a front. I get the feeling he knows you better than he's letting on. Any sort of psychic barrier is useless. The bothersome hag won't leave me be, and here I am face to face with a telepath. Enough of this facade. Not only did you pick my local place, but you pretend to suggest my favorite blend. Oh, sorry.
You pretend to suggest my favorite blend like it was a lucky guess.
I know a little something about you, it's true, but it's part and parcel to my profession. I keep tabs on people who pique my interest. Thinking about that.
What is your profession exactly?
Let's say I look after Her Majesty's interests with great vigor when they align with my own. Street, on with it then. You've tried my patience long enough. Very well. I already know of your life as a roughneck and a panhandling mage, but what about before that? What about the Sacred Heart? Honest.
It was where I grew up, before I eluded the nun's coffer and took to the streets.
I gathered as much. What I'm not sure about is your parents.
All I really have are guesses.
Wheel of Fortune. This character has gained the retrospective trait, will now be able to select dialogue options that require this trait. Ways in which the mechanism of fate turn can be perplexing, but to the keen eye they may offer the means to shape the world. Okay.
Let's see. My mother gave me up because she couldn't pay my keep. And I suppose my father either died or walked out on us.
So the sisters never told you anything about your parents?
I can't say for sure, but it's too bloody unpleasant to think about.
If the memory's there, we can call it back gently. This fellow's lost his mind. Let's say that's true. Something occurred at the Sacred Heart that you've forgotten. With the help of an opium dream, you might recall the details that will lead to your mother.
Lead me to a grave site, you mean? What would that happen? What would that accomplish?
Okay, let's see. I know, I love the Urban Dictionary part of it also. On the contrary, I believe she's alive. Her name came up on a ledger at Bethnal House.
I've seen my share of swindlers. This takes the cake.
Just humor me for a moment. Matilda is, of course, her given name, but how about her family name?
I don't think the sisters at the orphanage ever told me what it was.
But if you could recall Matilda's family name, and it's on record at the orphanage and matches the ledger at Bethnal House, you could prove her identity at the hospital and, by claiming kinship, set her free. Means digging up memories of the Sacred Heart. Not exactly how I thought the night would unfold. Let's see. I'm sure her mother's alive. She's forgotten me. Even if what you describe is possible, why should I want to find her? That's up to your discretion, of course, and I cannot share my own motivation for the truth. He's dreadfully opaque, isn't he? I cannot force your hand, but unless you can think back to those troubling times, then you won't be worth more than the price on your head.
A bounty I'm assuming you'd be happy to collect?
That's right. Albeit less desirable, it's another way to ensure that I won't have wasted my time. He's offering me a chance to live, but only if I can draw up those memories. So what'll it be? The dream dose and a voyage between the banks of memory, or the death dose and the end of all your days? You take the stranger's offer, eager to lose touch with harsh reality and for a chance to recall everything that could lead to your mother's whereabouts. Shortly after drifting away from consciousness, you find yourself being enveloped by a miasma of repressed memories, the stranger's recent inquiries reminding you of growing up in the Sacred Heart Orphanage. Auntie Emma's warm embrace suddenly morphs into chilly restraints as remembrances of dooryard scuffles with bellicose orphans resurface. It's as if life is refusing to allow you to seek refuge from tangible hardships, no matter how potent your drug of choice for escapism is. This place, it's surely a dream, but it's all too familiar. Okay, all right, bear with me, chat. 1 second. Give me a minute, and I shall be right back. Okay. Sorry about that. No, that was definitely more than that. Ooh, I unlocked a Major Arcana card. There are 20 cards in the Major Arcana to unlock. Each Major Arcana card is unlockable only by a specific player character. Cards in the Major Arcana unlock specific personality traits. Once unlocked, you'll be able to select dialogue options that require that trait. You can see which major tarot cards have been found in the tarot panel. Alright. High Priestess, that's the illusionist trait. And Retrospective that I just got. Mm-hmm. Alright. This place. It's surely a dream, but it's all too familiar. You must find out what the stranger is seeking in your memories. Okay. Sister Heloise. The courtyard is nothing but hard-packed sand and scruffy grass. Heloise watches over the children at play. By this time, you were big enough to give as good as you got, and the ones who wouldn't fight you insulted you with abandon. As the others adapted, I became more isolated. I often thought of running away. Atticus, you'll be 12 years old in a week's time. There's something I need to tell you.
What's the difference? I'm getting out of here as soon as I can.
Now, Atticus, let's hear what she has to say. It's about your mother. I should have told you sooner, but I didn't know how. I'm sorry, Atticus. I wish I'd been more brave.
At least you're telling me now before I quit this place.
The day you arrived, there was a ring wrapped up in your blankets. You're old enough to have it now, and your mother left this, too. Heloise hands me an old piece of parchment, a note from my mother. Can you make out what it says?
No, there's no message. I can't reduce the memory.
Okay, self-discipline is increased. That's good. The truth will come in time. I'm sorry I kept this from you for so long.
Did she ever come back for me?
She came back half a year later and insisted you were her child. She mentioned the note and knew the date we found you on the steps.
But why didn't I go with her?
Shh. Eloise is coming to that. As your mother signed into the registry, a horse and buggy drew up outside, and there was a terrible shout as someone bowled over the sister at the door. When this fellow burst in, your mother went stiff as a corpse.
Could it have been my father?
I don't know who he was, but he struck a panic in my heart. There was malice in his every step, a twitching, insidious man. He took your mother, and she never returned. I forgot about this day for good reason. Perhaps you were too young to hear the tale. Hearing this from Eloise heartened me at the time, but it still didn't change the fact that I couldn't stand the Sacred Heart. Which is the Sacred Heart Orphanage. After I fled the orphanage, I did search for my mother until I decided there was nothing I could do. Perhaps not then, but this is now. The open arms of the angel. In the arms of the angel, far away from here. I never had a home in this dreadful place. I had to grow thick skin in my younger years, even if it may be more socially impenetrable. This reminds me a bit of the stranger sequences in Dishonored. The bits of colored chalk were the most sought after. It's too bad they were so often wasted on crude drawings. I see you've recovered from your latest round of fisticuffs. Anything to say for yourself? I'm getting stronger all the time. Hide is getting coarser, thickening. Sometimes it's like I go blind for a few minutes. When I wake up, I'm crying and cut up, and everyone's staring at me and laughing. You poor child. You've suffered long enough. It's time you learned what your bloodline is capable of. Must be another ploy to get me to stay. But I'll be 13 in a few months, and then I'm running off for good. Being singled out as a minotaur, always having insults thrown at you. It's terrible. The bright spot is that you have the gift of magic and you can develop your talents if you study the tarot. She fans out the colorful cards. They seem to buzz with an eerie electricity. Look closely at this card, the Magician, a symbol of new beginnings. One arm to the heavens and the other toward the earth. He is a conduit between the spiritual and material realms. The Magician transmutes potential energy from its ethereal state into perceptible forms. Can't say I buy it, but I'm listening. That's the spirit. Minotaurs are magical creatures, and like this magician, you were a conduit. I committed the smell to memory long ago. I'll share it with you, but only with your promise of wholehearted trust.
Okay, Eloise. I know you wouldn't lead me astray. I trust you.
And I trust you, Atticus. Because if my superiors should learn of this, I'd never wear the habit again. Now, this is a cantrip. You must speak it over and over until it is written across your mind in bold letters. Her voice drops into a strange, low whisper. Sight from the fire, hearing from the ether, smell from the air, and taste from the water. Touch down to the earth in another form. Aristotle defined 5 senses: sight, smell, touch, taste, and hearing, corresponding to the elements of fire, air, water, earth, and ether.
I think I understand, except for that bit about ether.
Ether is the energy propelling each heartbeat, the same material in the soul and the consciousness of all blooded creatures. Those with proper training can channel ether into the earthly sphere. Therein lies the power of the cantrip, the ability to transmute energy into matter. Ether is tied to hearing, so first you must learn to listen. You must hear the winds and the wiles of the heavens.
I see the night's getting on. What about the rest?
I remember. Yay, I remembered. +1 bile, +3 phlegm. I held my hands over the tarot cards and we sat quietly until I heard a voice like an oral mirror as if the words were backwards. Then I felt my lips moving, and when I opened my eyes we were breathing the words of the cantrip in unison. The memory cuts to the quick, but at least it's still intact. Well done, moving right along. Is it time to wake up? I dare say I'm ready for this to be over. Okay. A teddy bear with a missing eye and matted mohair fur. It suffered the pitfalls of a rough life in the orphanage, just like the rest of us. This was my bed right next to Snyder, and here in the footlocker I kept a few trinkets. Worthless, the lot of them. That's too bad. These purple darlings brighten up the dreary place, picked fresh from the schoolyard by Leo. Midnight strikes, I'll be 13 years of age. Father Franco keeps the orphanage funds in the private office. That's my ticket out of here. I don't know, we'll see. That didn't work. Right then, nothing to it. Hey, what's up, iSense? What are you up for? If you're looking for the nun's candy stash, you can forget it. I already checked. Snyder the Spider. You never stop spying on people, do you? Not even your sleep. Say, Snyder, isn't old Franco due to give you a thrashing in the morning?
Thrashing in the morning?
I don't... What?
For spilling ink all over his surplus the other day. Oh, will he be mad?
You saw that? I'm so tired from scrubbing flagstones. You must be some kind of phantom, a dream. I'm going back to sleep. Hey, it worked. Yeah, buddy. There's enough here to get me started on my own. Pay dirt, I'll put 100 leagues between me and the Sacred Heart. What was that? Sounded like it came from the hallway. The house is roused. I better make my exit. Someone's coming. My only way out is through that window. 20-foot drop from the second story, but I'd rather a twisted ankle than a date with a willow switch. There's a voice in the corridor, then a pale shape that emerges from the shadows. Stealing this money, it hurt the Sacred Heart. We fell behind. We skipped over holidays and knitted clothes for the children. Bah! So far, so good, Echo. It's a bit slow. but I think the humor system is very interesting. I think as it opens up, there's more stuff that I'll be able to do that would be pretty neat. I think that's really interesting, like the tarot cards and the humor, and I love the setting of it. So far, pretty cool. As far as combat is concerned, I sense there's only one little sequence of combat that I've gotten into so far, which I had failed. And it showed like basically this little vignette, like a tiny little like, sort of like a cutscene, but not really, like this little comic strip that sort of reflected what happened to me. So I want to see more of that. That's all I know so far, but I've only been playing for an hour basically. So this memory has been twisted by the guilt you felt from it, taking a new shape to prevent this sort of behavior again. That's right. It didn't happen like this. She didn't catch me in the act. I'm sorry, Eloise, but I had no other choice. There's always a choice, my child, and there's still a way to make it right. Normally, I'd say that drifting into deep sleep would be a merciful release from reliving such memories. Yet something compels me to push on, to be put through the ringer. To face that greatest of foes, myself. Yeah, it's got very much a... Oh, achievement. When I was young, I thought the money was the most important thing in life. Now that I'm old, I know that it is. Oscar Wilde. So I completed chapter 1. Okay, so now we have a new character. So that was Atticus. That was chapter 1. Chapter 2, Clara Reed, Lord Silas's airship. Navigate London as the sharp and savvy courtesan Clara Reed before new crimes and the markings of her past catch up to her and tear her life apart. All right, let's see. Clara uses a sharp wit and tact to navigate the perils of London's upper class, but she's haunted by the choices of her past. Will she let those choices hold her back or search for a better future? So we've got intuition. She learned to hone her sharp intuition from a young age. One can rarely hope to survive or thrive in tenuous situations if they haven't learned to listen to their gut. So we have intuition, the nagging feeling at the back of your mind, the instinct something's either very wrong or perhaps very right. At times irrational, always persistent. Grace refers both to one's physical condition as well as connection to one's social groups, the joy and expertise of movement and the joy and protection of companionship. And intellect, the pursuit and application of knowledge and logic, a wry wit, a cunning deduction, and subtle manipulation are the markers of intellect. Okay. Then we've got stubborn. You never seem to stop even if your aching mind and body implore you to do so. So far I like this. Grace, quick on her feet, quick with her hands, and quick to laugh. These are the tools that both disarm most conflicts and left Clara with enough pep and verve to want to keep moving forward. +8 grace, +5 intuition, +2 tacts, ability to navigate the social world smoothly. You spring into unremitting action as soon as the die is cast. Oh, no, I didn't mean to do that. No, I didn't mean to do that. Ah, damn it, I wanted to see the other two. Oh, I hit the wrong button. So, can I load, like, where did it auto-save? Let me see. Okay, it auto-saved at the beginning of chapter... Where did it auto-save? Let me load that. Okay, good. Okay, my bad. Let me do that again. Because I really want to know what the other two options are. Okay. So that was intuition, that was grace. Now, intellect. Bookish and whip-smart since childhood, she took comfort in spending long hours in pursuit of knowledge, a shield against the pressures of the world and a sword against those who sought to control her. Intellect is number 1, tact, number 2, intuition 3, and she's a polymath, making my critical thinking unmatched. That's okay. Tact, a social chameleon by necessity, Clara learned to say exactly what others needed to hear. The right words can topple kings or at least keep you unperceived for another night. You can blend in with many social circles and find it easy to pretend to be what you're not. So, tact and grace. It's between intuition and tact. intellect. I'd like intuition to be higher. That is the best combination here. Intellect and tact. +8 intellect, +5 tact, and then a little bit of intuition. Intuition is +8 intuition, +5 grace. I'd like to have a little bit of tact. Grace, intuition. I think it's actually this, probably. No, I take it back. Tact. Revolutionary feats of engineering and shameless displays of wealth. A common sight in London, yet rarely does one come across that which combines technological prowess and financial abundance. Enter Silas's airship, its gilded frame and sheer size literally and figuratively casting a deep shadow over the city's slums and wealthy districts. Shafts of sunlight filter through windows that wrap around each of the airship's rooms, bathing them and their occupants in a warm glow. Pipes and polished wooden floors rumble to the spinning of the airship's propellers. You feel like you're standing within a slice of the future. Morning already? Can't stay here forever. I still have much to do before I leave London. Good thing Silas already delivered my payment. He was up before me. I wonder if he's still aboard the airship. I should take in the atmosphere even though I only have a 50% shot. I'd love to take in the air, but apparently I faceplant. Can't be sure what he's up to, but I did hear him bustling around somewhere on board. He rarely lets me leave without ensuring our next appointment is set. My head still aches from all that whiskey he was pouring me last night. Last night was no bed of roses, but it wasn't all bad. At least once I've quit London, I won't have to entertain Silas anymore.
Is that you, sweet thing?
Oh no, it's not the right voice.
Is that you, sweet... Is that you, sweet thing? Up at last, are we?
Better get going. Too busy to lay abed. Another night wearing this perfume will drive me mad, but Silas always gives bigger tips when I wear his gifts. Another dreadful night or one more day in London. I must choose the lesser evil, I suppose. One more night, then I can wash Silas and London off my back for good. A small but carefully curated selection of wines and one bottle of good gin. Strangely distinct in a high society way. Judging by the label, Silas named this brand of gin after his wife, perhaps as an attempt to make amends. If I fancied it for myself, now's the time. The Cyclops is dead to the world. Yeah, let's take a look at the rack. Let's do that. This will soothe the soul, mine or someone else's. Got some Lady Braxton gin. How's my character doing, by the way? Content. Okay. On the sideboard sits an elaborate folding fan with a note beneath it. In prim and proper cursive it reads, "A token of my affection." And further down, a trinket of fascinating complexity and refined beauty. A fitting gift for my dear Miss Clara Reed. One must wonder what sort of request he plans to put forth that would call for this sort of doting first. Pretty little thing, isn't it? Quite bulky for an accessory, however. Search for more fans. Okay. A similar fabric to the booze in the Velvet Rose, with fewer stains, evidently. Did I skip the sewers entirely? I guess I must have, because I don't think I went to the sewers, Carol. I woke up, the stranger found me, I tried to get away, I couldn't do it. Then I ended up going to the, what was the place? The Wild Rose or something? I don't remember the name of the place, but it was some kind of place that I apparently hung out before. And then I had this dream, and in the dream I went through escaping from the sisters at the orphanage that had raised me, basically. Oh, the Opium Den, that's right. And yes, the style of the game, well, it's set in a kind of alternate Victorian London, basically. So that makes some sense. It has a kind of steampunkish air to it. Save. And a butte. Mother used to play a song with one of these. What was the melody again? Oh, interesting. Yeah, I didn't go there. Terracotta, chipped amethyst. I wonder who stole the original. This luggage set is less organized than mine back at the royal suite. Like Tenor and Silas, akin on the outside, but with a different sort of discontent in their hearts. London looks even more hideous from above. That's right. And if you like, I should point out, chat, that if you like what you see, exclamation point game will give you a link. If you use that, that will throw a couple of bucks my way, but it won't add any extra to your cost. I am playing the Digital Deluxe Edition, but as I say, if you use that little thing at the end, you can go over there. You can get, it's not on sale at the moment, but I think the regular edition is like 20 bucks, and the Digital Deluxe is like 35, something like that, I want to say. So, okay. Surely crafted by a worker with meager pay. Absolute precision left unnoticed by the wealthy. All right, Silas Bragg. Whoa. Fancy a jaunt to St. James for Finn and Hattie's? Afraid not, my dove. I have a busy schedule today, and my employer at the Rose will be quite cross with me if I'm not in soon. This early in the day? Zeus's beard, she runs a tight ship then. Respectable shops and taverns won't come unshuttered for ages yet, but the dollies are already breaking bread and scrubbing up for the day. No rest for the wicked, as they say. So it would seem. Sleep well, dove? With you? Always. Nothing like waking up beside a lady as lovely as you in the buff. You flatter me, your lordship. Flattery will get you everywhere. I know the look in those eyes. Best segue into something else. Regardless of how well Silas has already paid, I do have places to be. How's work coming along on the new prosthesis? Wonderfully. Couldn't be happier with it. I can't wait for the public to see it. This will revolutionize the way work is done in our fair city, and pay, for that matter. Would be launching ahead of schedule at this rate if only the blasted foreman could do his job. Trouble on the production line? And then some. One factory in particular. They're asking for higher wages, less hours. You know how it is, my sweet. Nothing I haven't said. At length. Christ above, the greed, the laziness. Do they not understand how deeply they're hurting this industry, slowing us down? Let Silas know of your thoughts on the matter. Okay. What a bother, sweetling. When next we meet, I'll work all the harder to take some of that stress off your shoulders. Indeed. Sooner rather than later, I think. Wherever did you find this fan? It's quite the piece. Ah, found my gift, eh? Lovely little bauble, isn't it? I know you've a bit of a collection, and I couldn't resist treating my favorite London dolly. Not too presumptuous, I hope. Not at all. I appreciate the gesture, Dove. Well, I'm sure you'll find a way to thank me when next we meet, right, my sweet? When would you like to meet again, Lord Bragg? Now, enough of that. It's just Silas for you, my little Binks. Lord Bragg. Ha! The novelty never wears thin. I pray only that more Cyclops may someday follow in my footsteps and earn Her Majesty's praise. For all his bluster, there are some causes he truly does care about. But to your question, I'm afraid I'll have to get in touch. Busy these coming days, and plenty of irons in the fire. But mark me, I'll send word to my sweet Miss Clara as soon as I'm free. I'll look forward to it. Thank you for the follow, I sense, on my channel. Oh, which reminds me. Hang on a second. Okay. I'll best be off. It was wonderful as always. Don't be a stranger, my dove. Of course not, my dear. I'll be seeing you sooner rather than later, I think. Till then. I like that freaking motorized wheelchair he's got. And I guess that's all, right? Just making sure I didn't miss anything. Only thing right now that I'm noticing about this game mechanically is that it definitely is stuttering when it shifts. Like, you can see that there's some screen tearing going on. That's the only problem I have right now, is sort of mechanically with the way the game looks. Otherwise, very cool stuff. Soft light breaks through the dense London fog and falls across the leafing paint of the fishmonger stalls. This close to the sea, the smog of London is usurped by the salty bite of tidal decay. Fish bones and English waste mingle on the edge of the metropole, coating the stone wall of the quay and cobbles below in a thin and foaming slick. Escape is close at hand, and the tawdry cavern which has been your living tomb shall be no more, fate's willing. When they search for you in the morning, they'll find little more than an empty room with its door flung wide. Just one more night of this. Yeah, VSync isn't an option. I tried, but unfortunately not so much. Ah, the nostalgic reek of London's ports. It's a fine day by London standards, quite nearly refreshing. Almost a pity to spend it bustling about making plans for my egress. If I'll miss the city, at least it saves me from a morning stroll with Silas. My musings are cut short by the hacking gasp or cough of a longshoreman somewhere off a ways hauling his cargo for the day. That's more than enough mawkishness for now. Green Street should be around here somewhere. Task started the less London. So one of the things that's cool about this is that you have different options that get you to the same place, but what you choose to use affects and gives you more humor that can level up this ability. So sometimes you only can use a certain option in speech if your particular thing, intellect, intuition, grace, or whatever, is at a certain level. And so you do that by actually using it more. So sometimes I use intuition, sometimes I use grace. And when you get up to a certain level, your humors will be up high enough. So right now, my intuition is at 0 of 10. My intellect is at 2 of 10. So I have 8 more before I get to another level. Tact is at 2 of 10. I have 8 more there too. And 9 out of 10 for grace. Okay. Is to force VSync with NVIDIA? Yeah. I guess that's true. Yeah, well, let me get out of this for a second. All right, let me save this, and actually let me try that VSync thing. Let me just see if it works. I'm not going to be I'm not doing a big tech support thing today, don't worry, but oops. Okay. All right. Let me just try to do that. Yeah, there's no VSync here. Okay. Okay, so right, it is synced. So let me see. Yeah, well, no one's going to have too much fun with that, although sometimes it can be enjoyable vaguely, but all right, so NVIDIA settings, let's see. Okay, so if I let's see. All right, program settings. All right, let's see. Oh, it's only going to let me, fair enough, Cat Pig. That's fair enough. Right, vertical sync. So, because I don't want to do a global thing. So I guess the question is, do I go from the programs? Like, I don't want to do it for GOG Galaxy is the thing. So, oh, there we go. Sovereign Syndicate. Add selected program. And let's try using... Okay, so we're going to turn vertical sync on. We're going to apply. All right, let's see how this works. Yeah, I got it. Because it's definitely stuttering and tearing, which makes me think it's a VSync thing, but, you know. Odd that they don't have that as an option, actually, even in here, but... Okay, let's see. Whoa, I think that may have done it, actually. I don't see it tearing or stuttering the same way it was. Let me go onto the airship where I can move around. Oh, shoot, it won't let me. Okay. Let me go to the street level. Yeah, that definitely looks better. You see what I mean, chat? There's no tearing right now. Much smoother. Good call, Echo. That's a good call. Yeah, but both the previous chapter and this chapter, there's like a tiny, tiny bit of stuttering, but not nearly as bad, and there's no screen tearing now. Much less than before. Yeah, it's a good call. Bric-a-brac, likely in a machine once. If I want to earn some extra coin, I can shop these to an engineer. Finders keepers. Okay. Coal tailings from the warehouse, no doubt. And again, they may patch this at some point, which might also improve it. That would be helpful, but... Steam requires coal, but the byproducts, gypsum, slag, and fly ash can be reused. Abrasive, cement, roofing materials, just to name a few. Who knows how long this will sit here before anyone repurposes it. I would assume it was piled by one of the trash processing automatons employed by Arsenal, which apparently is a producer of consumer machines and advanced devices. Okay. What's up, Wharf Engineer? A studious man turns away from his workbench where the innards of an open watch face glint in the sun. He momentarily loses focus and a steel spring twangs in my direction. Alright, I have to dodge the spring. 68% chance. I made it. I matrix out of the way. I cock my head at the last moment. The errant spring zips past my ear and the man snatches it out of the air with shocking alacrity. So he like, zip zip? Like that's how that... That's what we're talking about? 3 months ago Friday since the game was released. Yeah, it's a small company, but... Yeah. Not terribly unlike dodging the affections of some love-struck fool. +5 hope. Poetry can be much more painful when it connects. Oh, you blazing mechanical foosler... Ahem. I didn't see you there, miss. He shifts his demeanor with a practiced smile. What a clean lady. Here at Arsenal Warehouse number 3, we take pride in cleanliness. Pardon me, miss, for the temporary mishandling. Whom do I have the pleasure of meeting on this fine day? Don't worry about it. My name is Clara Reed, and yours? Dante Ziegler, at your service. What brings you to the wharf? Oh, this is not a butchery? What a terrible mistake on my part. I was just passing by, and I thought I would stop a moment to see what you're working on. Ah, well, I beg your pardon again, Miss Clara, but I'm a bit busy at the moment. Busy waiting, that is, for my illustrious employer to finally arrive and give the orders of the day. That'll be Lord Braxton at Arsenal. Tony Braxton? Lord Braxton wears wonderfully clean suits. That means he is a good man. The man can be an absolute tyrant to his employees whilst managing to completely ignore them at times. Makes me wonder what he's up to in his private life, but I'm not one to pry. He certainly doesn't know the company Silas keeps. I've heard there are some remarkable goings-on at Arsenal. Funny you should mention him. Lord Braxton and I are intimately acquainted. No. I've heard there's some remarkable goings-on at Arsenal. Like you wouldn't believe. Lord Braxton has his fingers in all kinds of pots. High, low, everywhere in between. Lord Braxton mixing with a lowborn? That beggars belief. I doubt a fine lady such as yourself would have seen such things, but certain undesirable elements have been seen traipsing around with mechanical augmentations. Some say they bear the Arsenal Maker's mark. Scandalous. Molly O'Malley, the leader of the Dockhounds, the most powerful criminal gang in the East End. Okay. In bed with Silas? I guess I'm not the only one. I hope you don't mind my prying, but actually, what sort of things is Lord Braxton involved with in high society? Don't tell anyone I said so, but the industrialists are the real power in this country, and Parliament merely their mouthpieces. Despite that, it would seem that ruling from the shadows isn't enough for these blokes. I have heard that Arsenal has some kind of endgame scenario in the works. So Silas is scheming to change things. I wouldn't call that news, but the way this fellow says endgame makes me a bit nervous. I hope you don't mind my prying, but exactly what sort of automaton is this? Ugh, the kind that gives me a headache. I am designated Trash Retrieval and Processing Unit. It's one of several that roam around the warehouse, bumping into walls every couple of minutes before correcting course into another wall. For some reason, it thinks it should stand here and bother me. Mr. Ziegler produces a large amount of garbage. His suit is not clean. And what is your opinion of Mr. Ziegler? Upstanding moral character is correlated with cleanliness. Hey, Trap, I think I see a mess in the water over there, right off the edge of the dock. I take it you're the sort to collect and pay for cogs. Sharp eyes on you. Indeed, I'll be happy to take any cogs out of your pockets and fill them up with money. Alright, I got 3 silver and removed a cog. Appreciate it. Certainly sounds like Lord Braxton has been keeping busy. Busy? Right. It's been a pleasure, Miss Clara, but I'm afraid I need to get back to my project. Good day. And they say women are gossips? I can't imagine what this man would reveal after a few drinks. Loose lips sink airships. That's cute. Yeah, definitely much better. It's not completely there, but oh my gosh, there's a lot going on here. Ransacked nest, a raven's nest, abandoned. No, ransacked. Likely by a rogue automaton pigeon while the nest's inhabitants were away. That's interesting. One of my manuscripts that I'm currently trying to sell, that I'm sending around to agents, has a clockwork pigeon as a major component of it. There's a stray dog. Oi there! Don't sway away from me too soon. Name's Glenn Forrester, Lieutenant in the Royal Navy. A Navy man? Well, I'm Clara Reed. It's a pleasure to be acquainted. That's right. Well, I'm retired, to be precise. Oh, no, this is a different voice for this guy. Well, I'm retired, to be precise. But the active service took me all over the Mediterranean. If you ever want a sea tale, I'm your man. I'll take a sea tale. Let's hear it, then. This encounter took place upon Thrinacia, a rocky little island barely worthy of a name, to the southwest of Sicily. I was the officer in charge of a team of 7 sent ashore to replenish our fresh water. The land is quite barren there. They must have been hard-pressed. When at last we found a stream high in the hills, we were ambushed by a cyclops. But this was more like the great monster who terrorized Odysseus than our London cyclops tradesmen and scientists and what have you. I've heard tell of them before. Cyclops in remote areas ranging far above the city-dwelling folk. Well, this creature was wild, animalistic, and a meter taller than any man or woman that I'd seen before of their ilk. He jumped down from a high ledge, focused on us rather than on our stack of water casks, upon which he broke a leg. He was little trouble to vanquish then. Saints above, I had feared some kind of disaster. At least you didn't lose any men. What troubles me about the ambush on Thrinacia is that from then on I've been consumed with anti-Cyclops prejudice. 2 eyes are better than 1. Ha 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 ha. Bigotry runs rampant throughout London and the world, for that matter. At least he admits it. Logically, I know it is wrong to judge an entire species based on one harrowing event, so I strive to be conscious of these emotions, the better to counter them. Prejudice can often get the better of us. For example, everyone takes me for a dolly, someone who needs a male escort to defend herself. As a dark-skinned man in the Navy, I faced this sort of travail. It was the work of many long years to achieve the rank of lieutenant, times in which I gave everything I had to my country. Poor fellow, his wooden leg is testament to that. My point is that there are great odds stacked against certain people, and one must be vigilant as one rises up, not to become caught up in the tipping of scales against the meek. I admire your resolve, Mr. Forrester. It's a firm reminder that there's always a better way of looking at the world. Happy as ever to share my side of things. And here's my way of saying thanks for lending me an ear. A bottle of brown liquor, because everyone drinks in this world. A little something I picked up on one of my seafaring adventures. Why, thank you, Glenn. You shouldn't have. No trouble at all. I'm curious about something, Mr. Forrester. Now that you're retired, what do you fill the hours with? Well, I must admit the pension isn't much to write home about, so I work a couple of side jobs. And what might those be? Sorry, Ms. Reed, but I prefer my business affairs private. Begging your pardon? Best not to press him. He's already grown nervous. Understood, Mr. Forrester. Sea tales it is. Appreciated, Miss Reed. Take care of yourself. Alright, that dude is alright. He's alright. Recruitment poster. Throw off the yoke of despotic gang bosses and join the dockhounds. Big money and lifetime loyalty await. £10 signing bonus. At the bottom in smaller print, must be able to lift a grain sack equal roughly to a young dwarf. How specific. What's up, newsboy? Madam, have you heard? Ladies like yourself are being targeted. For now it's sunny, sure, but you'd better tuck in early tonight. Now, what is this little poppet yammering about? His concern is genuine, despite the fact that he's slinging newspapers. A bright young capitalist, if ever I saw one. The name's Rom, madam, and you might as well add the little. Most people think I'm short for a cyclops, but I'm still growing, honest. Back home at the tenements, I keep track of it with a yardstick taped to the wall. It's an awfully strange way to introduce yourself, even for the East End. Here's hoping your business grows as well. Oh, speaking of business, you care for the latest blood boiler? I also have a bulletin covering other goings-on. Only 1 penny. What is it you're selling? Broadsides? And choirs of sheet music, not to mention the latest on the courtesan killer. A story that could well have been written about me, should Lady Luck abandon me so. Here's a shilling, but keep the broadside. Tell me what you've heard about this mystery killer. Everyone's got their own pet opinion, but I think the ladies have been killing themselves. I heard from a chap at the tavern who had it from a stevedore. People been having these fits where they tears themselves apart. Looks like they was chopped up with a hatchet. I think I'll reserve judgment on that particular theory. Hopefully the Bobbies will figure this out soon. I suppose any theory is better than what the coppers have presented, which is bluntly nothing. Perhaps I'll ask around at the Rose if I have the time. Oh, so now we have another person who's part of the courtesan killer. Thanks, madam. It seems you ankle on the docks quite often. Might you know something about that fellow outside the tavern? Oh, Glenn, you mean? He buys my loose cigarettes, but never papers. You've any idea what he does for a living, aside from standing by the tavern telling stories? Oh, well, good madam, he's an ambulance driver. He does a bit of business with Mr. Gray, if I'm not mistaken. Dorian Gray? No, Gordon Gray, that is. Gordon Gray, the keeper of the apothecary over in Sora Square. But the old sailor's cagey about his jobs. I don't advise you asking indirect like, or he might shut his yapper, old barnacle that he is. I'd best be going now, little duck. Watch out for hobnails and don't work too hard, or those shoes will be worn down come winter. Alright. Judging by the rust on its finish, that crane hasn't seen use in a long time. Come on, stray dog. Oh no. That's a blue merle collie. Strange seeing a purebred without a collar. Perhaps he ran away. Looks like he's been in a few brawls at that. It's a proper meal if you ask me. Sorry, little one. If I find something to feed you, I'll come back. What if I go into the Crimson Herring Tavern and get some food? Oh, shuttered till later in the day. What if I don't do that because I can't? Centaur Dockhound. This Centaur Dockhound has clearly been through it. She must have a rap sheet a mile long. That's one of Molly's better qualities. She protects her flock from the law. All right there, I'm Clara Reed, an associate of Molly's. Huh. I never seen you before, and I'm usually good at spotting those who stand out. Any road, I'm Eleanor Bailey. I'm what you might call a private contractor now. Yeah? Sounds like there's some dosh behind that. What's Molly's game these days? Right, 68% chance. Success, let's go. She started as fake charity, Queen of Spades. Supposed to raise money for unemployed flu fakers, but instead it comes straight to us. Brilliant, innit? Yes, very clever. Look, I'm a bit busy here, so, you know, seems that that is all I'll get from her. Okay. Perhaps I'll run across someone who's keen on having these. I know who will buy them. Sturdy wire rope for keeping boats moored to piers. Hard for one proverbial sails to catch wind in this city. A sea dog like me is perpetually adrift. A maritime mixing of metaphor is enough to make me seasick. You ever talk to that one-legged sport by the tavern? Aye, that's Glenn Forrester. Washed up from the Navy as best I can tell. Likes telling stories, but it's all Tommy-Rah if you ask me. By the way, I'm Timothy Agarwal. It's a pleasure to meet. And I'm Clara Reed. Pleasure's all mine. Aside from that dockgown Eleanor Bailey, it's not every day we see a lady on the wharf. Pay him a compliment. You know, that's a lovely leather vest, but what really catches the eye is the chainmail tunic beneath it. Well, thank you, Miss Reed. At your service if there's any hulking brutes I might protect you from, or do you fancy a moonlit ride in a borrowed fishing boat? Perhaps I'll take you up on that offer another time, but for now, Timothy, what I'd like to know is Glenn's current occupation. Oh, Glenn! Oh, well, he doesn't like to talk about his side jobs, but I heard him let it slip once that he's an ambulance driver. Can't see the trouble with that, though. Seems like honest work to me. And then weary or better. That makes sense because I currently have a content demeanor as opposed to Atticus. I can't help but notice how different you are from your colleague, Mr. Forrester. Last we spoke, he wouldn't stop boasting about his time in the Navy. Yes, that's Glenn down to his buttons. He's something of a character, but harmless. Mostly. Anyway, you've been a dear. Perhaps we'll see each other again soon. It was no trouble at all. Good day, Miss Reed. Okay. Felipe Serrano. Felipe Serrano, a regular at the Rose. The wire young Spaniard gazes wistfully across the canal. Like most seamen, he carries an esoteric reverence for superstitions, but holds a singular enthusiasm for the unknown that rolls along with the tides. Hark to that. He's in the middle of a song. It's a lovely tune that I recognize from somewhere but cannot place. Eh? Oh, Señorita Clara, buenos días. Igualmente, mi amigo. My apologies, Clara. Estuve en las nubes. Head in the clouds, indeed. Oh, man. I thought it was a polymath. I guess I don't have enough of a polymath. I am a polymath, right? Like, I did choose intellect. It doesn't say, but I guess I'm not high enough. What was that song you were singing just now? I was singing? Oh, I had no idea. I only understood a few words, but it sounded passionate. I tilt my head and smile at him a bit. Ay, quizás, quizás. It's a song from Violetta. A troupe was touring in Spain during my last visit home. Just the title of the aria alone spoke to me, De mie bolente spiriti. It perfectly describes how full my heart feels. See, I was a little higher polymath. I would know about this opera. Instead, I don't know of the opera. I haven't heard of it. Ah, well, you're missing out, Señora Clara, porque es muy hermoso. And he's talking about how full his heart is? Dear me. Who might he have taken up with? Who is she, might I ask? I fear that the devil will yank the rug out from under me if I tell you who. I have rarely been so lucky in love. And she reciprocates? See, because at first she took my money, but last night she did not. She pressed it back into my palm and kissed me.
Esto es peligroso para ella. But this is the way it is so often in love, isn't it, Clara? Ay, Dios mío, when I was walking home, I felt as if... The fisherman's words fade as I grapple with what he's revealed. In this line of work, there's a rule that reigns supreme. You always accept payment. Interesting. How much can you personalize your character? So, you have a choice. When you begin each chapter, you have a new character that begins each chapter. I've only gotten 2 so far. I imagine we'll get to the 3rd one before too long. And then you can choose 4 different elements that sort of define them. So one would be where intuition is prominent. One would be where grace is prominent. One is where intellect is prominent. And one is where tact is prominent in the case of Clara Reed here. And then depending on which one you choose, you have those other skills, some of them, but at lesser bonuses. So you can, if you, like in my case, I chose intellect because I wanted a strong amount of intellect. I wanted to have a good amount of tact because I wanted to be able to have like conversations with like convince people to do things that I wanted. And then I think grace is 3rd in that list or something like that. And then intuition is last. I can't remember what the 3rd one was. So yes, you have 4 options for customization. And then as you play, the choices that you make, like when I went up here and I chose this option, which was intellect, I could have chosen another one. By making the choice to use something coming from my intellect, I gained phlegm, and phlegm is a humor, and the humor is what is used to level up that associated skill. So in this case, I have 6 out of 10. When I get 4 more phlegm, I will level up tact to 19, and there are some dialogue options that you need to have a certain amount of a given skill to be able to choose it. So that's basically the idea. And sure, no problem. Even if her actions are sincere, she's reaped a disservice on all of us. Tup a penniless cobbler, and their payment should be mending your most worn shoes. The price of our company is also our protection, what little we have. When word gets out that a client has become an exception, every Tom, Dick, and Harry assumes they'll be the next one. And so I'd like you to have a Pollack on the house. I quash my inner monologue just as he ends his. I haven't the faintest idea why he's offering me this fish. Did I truly drift off for that long? Ah, gracias. Can you believe this is all came up the Thames this morning? The new steamships are such a wonder. He points towards a near bursting net wriggling with fish. My heart is filled to abundance and now my net is too. It has to be a sign. That's lovely, Felipe, but you said it yourself. The girl may be in danger because of this. Who is she? Lo siento, señorita Clara. Let the Pollack double as an apology as well. Every seaman here will tell you the fates are fickle, and I cannot tempt them by telling you her name. Not until I have her answer to a very precious question. Precious? He's planning to propose? As they say, only fools rush in. Well, I hope the fates will look kindly upon you. So see, I got another phlegm for choosing that. He presses his lips in an anxious smile. By the saints, this is a doomed romance if ever I've seen one. So now I have another quest, which is the Fisherman's Bride. Seems like Felipe's been seeing a dolly lately. Worryingly, she turned down payment for her services. This may warrant further investigation. Also, I got a Pollack. Oh, right. That's for the dog. Okay, I'm going to check out this ferry schedule, and then I'm going to give that to the stray dog. Here's where the steam ferry leaves from. No one around at the moment. Only my reflection in the drab river water to keep me company. And so I can choose any of these 3 to answer from. I'm going to say if only escaping London were as easy as sneaking aboard the ferry, but there are documents to print and loose ends to tie up. Okay. Let me go. So I'm going to go, first of all, there. And give the guy money for cog. Delicious phlegm. Yep, humors were a big deal in the Renaissance. In particular, and then it lasted into beyond that, but... Okay. Okay. There we go. Now I'm going to give... What's his face? I'm going to give the dog a fish. Tossing the fish from Libby. Bit stinky, I'm afraid, but I hope you like it. He sniffs at it, but doesn't seem interested. Perhaps that sort of salty fare is better fit for a feline. Uh-oh. God damn it, I didn't get it.
Saints above. That's going to leave a scratch. Damn it, I lost it, and I also lost... Man. That sucks. Yeah, well, look. Listen, I know dogs that also like fish. Green Street. Green Street. There's Green Street, a Canadian smuggler who endures the brutality of nature and the unforgiving ocean in the name of profit. A pity to have to turn to him for passage across the pond, but my options are rather limited. Miss Reed. Mr. Green Street. Satiate my curiosity for a moment. Why do you need me when you have such prestigious bedfellows as Lord Braxton? In my line of work, one learns it is foolish to ask a favor from one clientele. Very well, I rescind my question. I asked only because a man of his stature could assist with this predicament. Due to the recent import shortage of rubber gum from the Congo, the peelers have been engaging in more thorough dock inspections to keep the demand from reaching an underground market. He shoots me a look while scanning the horizon. The port's usual watchman refused my bribe. Either the coppers are paying him better or they're putting the fear of God in him. Grits his teeth around his pipe. That means changes to our agreement on smuggling you out of here. I'll need a double rate by tomorrow night. That's as generous as I'm willing to get while the constable's breathing down my neck. So I could threaten him, but that's not likely. 38% chance is not great. Double your initial payment was ludicrous as it was. Perhaps I'll simply take my business elsewhere. Greenstreet removes his pipe. No, you won't. An unfortunate situation, but I've crawled out of worse. You compose yourself well, Miss Reed, but I've seen jackrabbits chew their own limbs off to escape a snare, only to bleed out 10 paces past. Desperation is in the eye of every trapped animal. You must know it's impossible to get that much capital in so short a time. Yes, it's got a definitely I think it's got a similar feel to Disco Elysium for sure, although the world is quite different, but perhaps there's another type of payment you can accept? His toothy grin drops where I hoped it would grow wider, though it's not gone completely. He appears more amused, if anything. Sure, I'll take payment in francs if you wish. I visit Mediterranean ports just as often as English ones. Care to show me how the dollies frolic in the Mediterranean? There it is. There's the hungry look I was expecting. Sure, I'll tell you what I tell them. Cash up front, then maybe we can talk about some of it finding its way back to you. Saints alive, if he doesn't fancy me for a coquette, then I'll have to find another card to play. Chin up, Miss Reed. It's not all so dour. Lesser miracles have already happened. My contact pulled through. Yeah, I've heard about Thaumaturge, but I haven't played it. I don't know a lot of details yet. He takes a leather bifold wallet from his breast pocket. Go on, take a closer look. I untie the leather tassel and reveal the pleated papers. There's even an authentic-looking wax stamp. A new identity, mine for the taking. This alone costs a small fortune. Your tale is you've come to the Dominion of Canada to claim inheritance from your great-uncle who served as a soldier under Napoleon. That is a neat story. With the coup going on in France, any attempts to verify my familial origins would be a nightmare. I'll be taking that back for now. How am I meant to measure its legitimacy if you won't let me look? Now I have tact of 19. Suppose you'll just have to take my word. Greenstreet tucks the documents into his breast pocket. If I'm not here in the docks, then you'll find me at the tavern. Gather up the capital and we'll be ready to leave off come dawn. Well, that could have gone better. Now what am I to do? Caught between a rock and a hard place. I turned to Greenstreet because I didn't want to rely on anyone else, but now it seems I have no choice. Fine. Who can I ask? I've met many people during my time in London. Molly O'Malley, leader of the Dockhounds. I ran with her in our bullfrog days, and she was the one who put the end to those days. Far too dangerous to approach unless you've got a death wish, and one of the main reasons I'm leaving London behind in the first place. Who else? Clementine Radley, bartender at the Palladium. Best not tell her I'm leaving. No, but she's good for gossip. Might be she has a lead on some tin-making opportunities. Worth a shot at least. Tessica Lincoln, a dear friend. One of the only things about London I'll miss. It would break my heart to tell her I'm leaving. Best to keep her far away from all this skullduggery. Plus 5 hope, okay. Dolores Chen runs the laundry in the Red Lantern District. The finest fence in London. We've done business before. She's always treated me right. Might be time to pay her a visit then. That's enough to be getting on with, I think. So, let's see. Oops, that's not what I meant. Okay, I need help to pay off Green Street. Dolores runs the laundry in Red Lantern Lane. She might have some ideas. I've also got Madame Zora. Also Fan Collector, the Courtesan Killer. I got a bunch of stuff. In Saris Square, the East End's crossroads of commerce and vice, the medieval cobbles still bear the weight of modern wheels and footwear. The streets, alleys, and plazas have avoided being pressed into the bilious black of macadam gracing the lands around Piccadilly, Kensington, and other wealthy areas. You've heard it said that due to an ongoing trademark dispute, each individual stone would need to be granted a day in court before its removal to make way for smoother pavement. Saris Square's amenities and surroundings attract people of varying moralities. Even so, the elites of London rarely cross the River Lee, and anything east of Aldgate is commonly held as out of bounds except for urgent errands. Ah, the dance of the flames in the open air recalls my travels with the Romani, where every morning brought fresh air and new vistas. And when our luck ran low, we simply shared what we had instead of squabbling over money. Okay, can't do determined. These folks aren't on a romantic adventure. They're cold and hungry, and camaraderie can only do so much to alleviate troubles like that. I'll wake every day to the open countryside if I wish it. Broken window. A lightning bolt fracture runs from this otherwise remarkably clean window. A little closer. The ground beneath it lies a mess of tiny gears and lacy aluminum feathers. Is that a steel talon by the wayside or just a hobnail? This automated bird must have flown blindly into the glass. I know it wasn't really a living creature, but there's something too terrible to consider about this whole scene. I'd best keep walking. -5 hope. All right, still content. Sadly, there are lots of vagrants in this end of London. If I ever met this fellow, I can't recall his name.
Good day to you, sir, madam.
You finally went to the Statue of Liberty. Nice, nice. What did you think?
And who might you be?
Call me Clara Reed. Why the woebegone look? Is something wrong?
Well, yes, something is wrong since you asked. I'm awful dry, my lady, part something fierce. The name's Poe Pickett, by the by. I don't suppose you could help a man who's down on his luck?
And I met Poe Pickett earlier in the first chapter. I understand what it's like to be at the end of your rope. Here you are, Mr. Pickett.
Oh, bless you, Mum.
London's solution to vagrants sleeping on the sidewalk. Does this hide the issue or simply cause people to equate vagrants with corpses? All right. Best give that barrel a wide berth. I can smell it from here. Aha, the butcher.
Gavin Dawson at your service. Any of my choice cuts catching your eye?
Give me that meat. Proper choice. You know where to find me if you ever get peckish again. Okay. Now, does the raw meat, is it going to matter, like, whether I give the guy raw meat, or the dog raw meat, or, oh, it doesn't matter because I can't do anything about it. Never mind. Yeah. It's true. It's not that big. Or, oh, I'm sorry. You're saying it's a bit larger than you thought. Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't think they would have a problem, but, you know. This thing already, like, scratched me once because I threw it a fish. How about this raw meat? Ever met a hound who would turn his snout up at some raw meat? Have at it then. Look at him wolf it down. Hope he won't forget this kindness. Pet the dog. Murph, wire, murph. That's the sweet spot right behind the ears. Achievement unlocked. Man's best friend. Pet the dog. Aw, yeah. Take care, little one. That's all I get? Don't get anything else? Aw, man. Thought that I was going to get like a dog companion. Yeah. Ellis Island was interesting. I actually have been, so I've been to Liberty Island, Ellis Island, but it was like closed when I went. We couldn't go up. My father actually went up all the way up into the torch at the top before they shut it down, and now the only thing you can go up into is the crown. But it used to be that you could go all the way up to the top, like with the arm top. So. Here's Gavin Dawson. Black cat. Poster encouraging werewolves to report to the containment zone from the day before the full moon until the day after. Poster might as well say London will be safer if werewolves know their place. Society's hard-pressed to cut them any slack, but at least there are medications nowadays, like moon cream, for those who can afford it. Fine fruits and vegetables from Gulliver Dawson up for sale. Can I help the lady find something in particular? Eye-catching fare indeed. Wonder if it tastes just as great. This one's suitably ripe, so I'd wager so. Man, I had a fish and then the dog ate it. There, little Tom. Have you a name, I wonder? My stomach grumbles. I wonder if the noodle stand in Red Lantern Lane is still open. I think I'll call you Bacon. Are you hungry too, Bacon? Bacon! My cat isn't up here. If you played higher and higher. Higher and higher. Or you could do, can you take me higher? The message is about as subtle as that giant hammer. Human beings are being replaced by machines to the profit of the ruling class and to the detriment of everyone else. I wonder if those are the sewers we were talking about. Oh, man. I wonder if he'll give me more fish. I can't believe I lost that fish from the guy. Oop, oop. Let me get that. Okay. Man. That's annoying. Okay. Hey, man, if I tell you how great it is, your girlfriend's awesome, will you give me more fish? Oh. 7 pence. I had a free one, too, and then the dog ate it. And I couldn't get it back. Yeah, I mean, you can buy a new one. It's just like, I didn't realize I hadn't met the cat yet. So... I assume I'm going to get some hope from this, but maybe I'll get a cat to follow me. That's alright, too. No, not doing that. I'm going on here. Bacon! Only the best for the finest cat in Sora Square. Alright, eats the fish unhurriedly, clearly enjoying his meal. Who's a happy cat? Is it you, Bacon? Bacon takes the pollock in his mouth and sets it down behind him, then sits next to his prize and stares at me. Your services are no longer required at this time. Servant, you're dismissed. Just as I'm about to leave, Bacon emits a high-pitched meow as though he were trying to get my attention. Then, as I watch, he runs off down an alleyway. Wonder where he's off to. Well, if you would let me go... No, I didn't want to go. Man. I don't know where this alley is, though. That's the problem. I don't know where the alleyway is. I don't know where Pavel's pinfold is. Follow 10-foot alley, a skinny passage with brick walls, and find yourself in a recessed enclosure where London's rodents are tendedly cared for rather than swiftly taken care of. Canvases sag on loose ropes above your head, and lanterns flicker dimly in the murk. Above the rustling and skittering of tiny feet and claws, Pavel Gerard, proprietor, stands at the ready. The floor is made of broken paving stones and pieces cast away from larger projects. Akin to his charges, Pavel is a scavenger at heart. The rats come in every size and receive all manner of treats when they behave. Displayed most prominently are his mischief of fancy rats, but Pavel trades in garden variety rodents too. Exotic snake owners often pay him a visit. It's a wonder the squeaking and scratching haven't driven Pavel mad, but the truth of his sanity depends on who you're asking. Should hope there's enough food for all of them, otherwise they'll start eating each other. Good thing with self-employment is keeping all the profit, as small as it might be.
Good day. It's not so often I have a proper lady at the pinfold, but of course it does happen. Now then, what can I call my lady?
Clara Reed. Pleasure to make your acquaintance.
Pleasure's all mine, I assure you. Wait till Pavel Gerard's rats quit skittering so you may take your exact pit.
Sorry, Mr. Gerard, but these vermins are far too keen on biting for my taste.
Oh, not a problem, miss. You need only pay more for the well-trained ones.
If we can train a dog, then why not train a rat? All the same, I'm a little short on dosh at the moment. Good day, Mr. Gerard. The Velvet Rose has its issues, but working as a rat catcher in the sewers, can't imagine. Okay. That was not particularly exciting. This NPC has no quest for me currently. That's what that was. It's also clearly not the alleyway down which the cat went. Okay, so that wasn't it. All right, let me check out the poster. That poster threatening werewolves. Ugh. I dare anyone to name me a werewolf who's unafraid of persecution in this town. Having so much produce out in the open is bound to attract thieves. Unending vigilance must be draining on shopkeepers. Check out the storm drain. Oh, I see that. That was a cool shadow. I can see that, like, travel car up there. I suppose the things people drop in the sewers by accident will eventually find their way here. Might even be something of moderate value. Okay, 50-50? Yeah. What'd I get? What'd I get? Why not give it a try? I'm already here after all. Well, hey there. That's about 2 shillings. Not bad at all. Okay. Fed the cat and fed the dog. And I got some fruit. Ooh, nice. More gears and cogs. Do. Yeah, the music is not bad, although whoa. Salutations! Sir Willard Rathbone at your service. Have any of my fine specimens caught the fair lady's attention, or was it simply my friend Dulcimer? Ah, yes, the illustrious pet broker, somehow still entertaining the notion that he's been knighted. The monkey on his shoulder is handsome, at least. No title for Dulcimer yet? Alas, Her Majesty has yet to recognize him with honors, but the day will come. The monkey would wear a knighthood better than some I've known. Caring for such exotic animals must be a difficult business. Is it profitable? Oh, I prefer not to think about the profitability. One must do what one loves, not worry about such petty things as money. It's a polite way to say to one that one is out of touch. Take the children begging on the street. I wouldn't take them anywhere, but do go on. Oh, blah. That's not what I meant. Exactly. There they are, spending... Oh, that's not what I meant to do. Man. Spending all their time begging for alms. Utter lack of character. Imagine if they simply adjusted their perspectives. Truly, every orphan could be a successful capitalist if only they tried harder. You don't see me moping about, asking for donations, simply because the price of food is twice what it was last year. Chin up, I say. Lease a few hectares of your family's farmland and seize the day. Tally-ho! Nothing else, this man has quite admirable optimism. Apparently, he's entirely taken with his vision of children living their dreams off the profits from leasing their lands, as he wipes a tear from his eye and waves me away with a handkerchief. Pardon me, miss. I need a moment. This guy. Design prioritized the comfort of its passengers, a welcome change from previous iterations. Such calm creatures. Either the broker tamed them well, or they swiftly get used to being stared at by onlookers. Yes. True enough, EA. I actually thought what I wanted to do was get him to speak more, not to be like, yeah, I hate kids. Like, that was not what I was looking to do. Horse-drawn carriages are being slowly phased out, but they're still more reliable than the new steam-powered cars. Interesting. Not the safest car out there. It looks like the whole thing will fall apart the second it moves. Okay. More gears and cogs, gears and cogs. One thing I won't miss about London is the constant state of decay. How much steam is wasted just in this little leaky pipe, and how long before someone notices? Green wagon. To settle down or live a vagabond's life post-crossing. Let's see how my feelings evolve throughout my transatlantic journey. Whoops. I believe this path will take me to the fashion district. Like I desperately need to spruce my appearance up. Besides, it's not just looks that make or break a person. Character matters as well. Okay, so I don't want to go down that way yet. Nandy's shop. All right. Oh, yeah? Entering Nandy's shop is like stepping into a forest. She prides herself on strictly natural remedies, so it's no wonder that the air feels suffused with a sort of wildness. There are insects whose powdered bodies can cure a common cold, herbal preparations of every sort and substance, and even the body of a gremlin floating in a jar. The latter would give you pause if you didn't know the truth, that the creature had possessed the basement and was attempting to spread its claim. So Nandy did the needful, and here the demon remains as a fair warning to any other individuals. An especially gifted healer when it comes to rare maladies, Nandy keeps a library of unusual treatments and the most comprehensive collection of tinctures in all of London. She awaits her customers from behind a walnut desk upon which lies a pot of incense, a scattering of bird bones, and other arcane desiderata. While some of the less open-minded citizens of the Big Smoke can get the willies around Nandy, you know she means no harm. Interesting. Spine after spine of herbal medicine. Nandy must be a fountain of knowledge, although there are too many in London who fear her remedies. Bleach white bones of various lengths and densities fill the cauldron. She really ought to add a few toads around the rim to assist the aesthetic. There's the withered gremlin. Here's the pest who tried to invade Nandy's basement, preserved forever as a warning against any and all of her enemies. Assorted skulls of several shapes and sizes, yet not a single creature is easily recognizable. I haven't got much use for animalian skeletal structures. It's always a treat to visit Nandy Mabaso in her shop, and I often learn something new for my troubles. Let's see, greeting in Zulu. Sawubona, Clara. Something you need in my humble shop. This tree, it has more benefits than only being captivated, doesn't it? Very perceptive of you. It has some beneficial properties indeed. Its strong roots produce a toxin utilized in many of my recipes, and so do its leaves. Besides, it saves me many an expedition to the forest. Time is money, as a person in your line of work would know. It's good to see you, Nandy. Salakali Mufazi, Clara. Which means go be well. Okay. Steps are intertwined with the twisting form of the trunk. Must lead to her private quarters. Oh, okay. Apparently, I don't have anywhere to look for this, too. Alright, so there's that. Alright, so I went into Nandy's shop. There's no obituary. Do I truly want to subject myself to reading such a downer? Might be the Curtisan thing. It's a short read, unlikely to make it less hard-hitting, however. Golly, another child labor accident. Phoebe and Ethan Holland suffocated while sweeping chimneys, with their sister Theodora committing suicide out of grief. Curse you, London. Yeah, I figured that might be useful for information, but... A dockhound. Always hard to tell if they're on the job or simply loitering. Often it's the same thing. Look at that, a dockhound in the wild. We're sisters of a sort, you know. I'm Clara. I used to run with the bullfrogs. She gives me a cautious once-over before replying. Cagey, this one. Olivia Lynn's the name. Yeah, I heard of the bullfrogs, but they broke up quite a while ago. What you do now? I'm trying to raise enough dosh to get out of London for good. That sounds right appealing to me. You still in the business? Oh boy. This is not going to work out well. 33% chance. Tell her what you're about? Yeah. Didn't think that was going to work. You know, all kinds of skullduggery. I'll do anything. Oh, you will, eh? You be a good girl and take off then. I see how it is. I wonder what it would be like living a normal life behind an ordinary window. It's hard to imagine. Exposed to the elements, the upholstery shows its age, like a fruit left to ripen in the sun. To passers-by, the apothecary looks like a simple shop that proudly advertises its purpose, right down to the lengthy name posted above the door, Gray's Apothecary, therapeutic medicines, patents, and tonics. But once inside, you realize the exterior facade was only a veil for an abundance of eccentric wares. Tonics, at-home medical devices, and all sorts of oddments. Thank you. Thank you, honey. And all sorts of oddments litter the shelves. That the shop's dimly lit also strikes you as peculiar. I just brought some food. But the Cyclops proprietor may have intended it that way, perhaps to preserve his goods for longer. The sight of so many concoctions and apparatuses is enough to make one afraid of walking for fear of breaking anything and paying for the resulting damage. Since the cave-dwelling Cyclopses evolved to see well in the dark, you'd best not hide any indiscretions from the proprietor. Well, well. These roots are the least unnerving thing present in this room. I wonder if they're natural or if Gordon is feeding them something unique. Ha! Glowing bottles. Quite the eye-catcher. I wonder how well they sell. More drawers than one would find in an aristocrat's bedroom vanity or behind a hotel's front desk. With respect, this isn't a self-service establishment. Tell me what you need and I'll try finding it in the back myself. Gordon Gray is one of the slimiest men I've ever seen, and I've seen a few. It's a good thing I haven't any business in this shop. Good morning, miss. Is there anything I can get for you? Not at the moment, but thank you. Okay, another place that I do not... This is good. I mean, I'm gathering information together, like about all these things, but I do not know about any of these things as of yet. Like, I haven't needed any of these things so far. Overground station. More gears and cogs. Okay. The hard-boiled scoop on the courtesan killer. Read on for the gory details. This story will boil your blood. No doubt the upper crust will give us a wide berth with news like this in vogue, save for those whose reputation is already beyond the pale. Makes a lady appreciate the likes of Cunningham despite the drawbacks, and happier still to see the back of this town soon enough. Although I haven't much time yet in this fair city, I'll keep looking into this mystery while I can. Alright, so I already gathered that. The drift of leaves swept into a neat pile by the breeze. The passing of the seasons means change, bringing me a small measure of comfort. Wreckage of a wooden chair. Just about any old piece of furniture can be rehabilitated with a little care. 70. Optimistic. Getting there. A dropped crate of china, likely intended for the restaurant, accompanied by a nose-pinching stench. A dead, decomposing animal. Ghastly. Alright, well, that's why I got that extra hope while I could get it. Cafe's abandoned parasol. It's nice to think that London at least occasionally gets some sunshine to break up the gloom. I could almost use my own parasol today. See, I got that hope right back. Remember this place? Excellent curry. It's a shame they closed. It's a good size, like, level of place to explore, actually. The music I find pretty, like... It's fine, but it's not, it's just sort of like, it's the same thing over and over again. So there's not much going on with this. Ghastly. Who'd ever imagined such a scene? The poor horse. I'd expect this kind of thing in Paris. It seems out of place here. Okay. Right. We go back this way. Hey, Mrs. Dunsel. How are you? Welcome, welcome. Good to see you. Marble statue. I bet that unlike Green Street, those people didn't ask that woman to pay a fortune before receiving a helping hand. Yeah, I mean, I think in terms of like overall stuff, the pre-rendered stuff, the background is fine. There's not much zoom in that you can do. I like the world building is a lot of fun. I enjoy the characterizations. The dialogue is good so far. And I like some of the setup of it in terms of the skill building and so on. The music is meh, and the backgrounds are okay, but not amazing. But in general, I've enjoyed watching, like, sort of learning about the different characters, though I only have 2 so far. On the outside, the Bell Jar Hotel looks like the rest of grimy Sora Square, but once you step inside, you might not believe the splendor. The interiors boast red-carpeted hallways and spiraling stairs with gilded banisters, and bellhops are dressed to the nines with white silk shirts and swallowtail suit coats by Pool & Company. Nobody knows for sure who owns the building, but the rumors point to royal blood. In contrast to the East End's sooty streets, the Bell Jar's accommodations are noticeably upscale. Like the oblong vessel it was named after, the hotel offers a vacuum of discretion for high society individuals seeking a plush locale away from Soho or Kensington, where they might otherwise be recognized. This is the Hotel Continental, chat. That's totally how it is. Loose coins. Seems someone's got a hole in their pocket. I'll take that, thank you. The bell jar's water feature, elegant and calming. Must have cost a fortune. This is a genuine Persian, if I'm not mistaken. Flower pot. Oh, look at these poor dried out things. Not enough sun here either. A real silver tea service. I prefer coffee, but I quickly learned to keep that to myself in London. The names in the guest book are undeniable proof of a hotel's preeminence. Lord Tennyson! And I missed him, rotten luck. There goes Link. I want to break the pot. That's true. That's true. Basing it purely on that, you know. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. The hotel's key rack. Quite a useful way to determine who's in and who's out without asking. Miss Reed, how lovely to see you. It feels like we haven't talked in ages. Suri and I became fast friends as soon as I moved into the bell jar. Indeed, my days seem to be consumed with flitting from one place to another and back again. I'm going to need steam-powered feet at some point. Are you still planning on leaving London? I'm always sad when clients of the better sort leave for greener pastures. At some point, yes, but I haven't decided exactly where I would like to land. I may return to America. Oh, I would love to cross the Atlantic myself, but money's always a problem. Are the men still clamoring for wives over there? They seem to be clamoring, as you say, everywhere. The problem is sorting through all the chaff. I've had a few prospects in London, but nothing's that's taken as of yet. Oh, I almost forgot. I have something for you. Sori fumbles around in a drawer for a moment before producing some kind of feather duster. It's a gift from that Mr. Cunningham. He asked me to pass it along. It's from Texas, too. I thought it fitting for an expatriate like yourself. Oh, man. I've been doing her voice wrong. I didn't know that she was from Texas originally. Ugly fan. Yeah. Got new fan. A hideous fan made in the Republic of Texas. Before you go, 2 telegrams came for you this morning. One from Tanner Cunningham and one Teddy Redgrave. God's teeth, what a bother. Telegrams are getting far too long these days and coming too often. Good thing I'm leaving London. With the advent of automatons, much longer telegrams can now be wired for a cheaper sending price. All right, Suri, I'll take them off your hands. All right, so I got to do an American accent now. To the ever-indomitable Ms. Clara Reed, here's something that'll really butter your bacon. The Lord of Braxton is hosting quite the shindig in a day's time, and I've found myself an invitation to the whole highfalutin affair. I want you there with bells on, Sweet Pea. It'll be a proper blowout, a real showstopper. Lord Braxton is celebrating the purchase of some trinkets from Cairo and suggests his guests dress the part. I've dug up just the jewelry for the evening, Miss Reed. You'll look absolutely stunning in it. Outshine the queens of old. Of course, it needs a proper dress to really sell the look. I found you just the thing. I'll be selling it along to your royal suite at the Bell Jar, so keep an eye out, Sweet Pea. If you'd like, find yourself something nice to go with it, eh, Spitfire? Shame about the late notice, but you can't begin to imagine how hard it was to cop an invite to this thing. Shaping up to be one hell of a night. Get your best dancing shoes out, Spitfire. Forever yours, Tenor. A party tomorrow evening upon Tenor's arm. Schmoozing, too much wine, and a cavalcade of London's most pretentious. What a dratted shame I'll be off and away by then. Dear Miss Clara Reed, we had the pleasure of acquaintance during the Frobisher case, but not much besides. All the same, I feel it's only fair to write to you. See, I'm a hunter of frightening beasts by trade, and see my share of bounties come and go, though not all of them are fanged or clawed. Plenty of call for bounties put out after regular or not-so-regular folk who cross the wrong cove or whatnot. I'm not usually apt to get involved, but it seemed only fair to do you a good turn after you pulled my own fat from the fire during that business with the Sluag. You've got a bounty on your head, Ms. Reed. A pretty price from some high-flown family or another. Something about an unfortunate turn in America and the untimely death of one Gilbert Lancaster. As I said, it only seems fair to give you a running start from whatever ails you, if little more. Least I could do, I figure. Best of luck, Theodore Redgrave. P.S. Otto says hello. The family Lancaster. Can't say I'm altogether surprised. Yet another reason to leave London behind me. Thanks, Suri. I'd better be on my way now. Shall we have a chat later? Oh yes, I should return to my duties as well, but let me know before you leave town so I can properly wish you well. Mahogany and gold trim trails along the wallpaper. Mirrors on the ceiling. Pink champagne of an ice. We are all just prisoners here, of our own device. And in the master's chamber, they gather for the feast. They stab it with their steely knives. Okay. And the paintings and fixtures are hung so high that they're an absolute nightmare for the maids to dust. The electric lamps are at the forefront of technical design, retrofitted to the oil lamp sockets of old, and the high ceilings made for an airy ambience where style is favored over substance. Your telescope and other homespun necessities clash with the ornate decorations of the suite. With your clientele, including Tenor Cunningham of seemingly bottomless pockets, you can well afford the monthly rate. The suite is as temporary a residence as any you've ever had since you left America, allowing for an escape from the chaos of London, while at the same time never feeling exactly like home. Okay, tarot deck. Tech of tarot cards. Back stateside, they become high fashion. As to whether they really tell one anything, well, it's the Hanged Man. Should I take this as yet another firm reminder to handle my business and get clear of London? This mirror's intricate gold inlays would make any maid dusting it want to expire. That said, the low table is perfect for preparing for a night out, or a day about London. Frames me quite nicely. Straighten the back, elongate the neck. Good posture is foremost. My brise fan is here. Shall I practice my fan etiquette? The white silk fan unfurls with a flourish of the wrist. Close the fan and tap my left ear with its tip. I wish to be rid of you, the fan declares. Flick the fan open and quickly snap it closed again. Bastard, the fan curses. Close the fan and draw it slowly down my right cheek. I love you, the fan whispers. Flick the fan open in front of my eyes, hiding my face. We're being watched, the fan murmurs. Carry the fan in my left hand while daintily fanning my face. I desire to make your acquaintance. Make my intent clear without speaking a word. Okay, that's cool. Draw 5 death cards, I know, right? Okay, Bacon! What's up? The black cat from Sarah Square lounges about in your suite as though he's always been here. Bacon, how did you ever find your way here? Getting cat hair off the furniture is going to be a nightmare. I have a cat now. Look at his cute little face. Who's a good cat? Who belongs right on a sandwich with tomatoes and... I should really find a snack. But I have Bacon right here. I'm really not planning on eating a cat, as cute as he is. Tenor left me these, roses of several colors dethorned and arranged to near perfection. His attempts to win me over are flattering, but if I escaped London on his dime, then I'd be obliged to join him in the Republic of Texas, at least for a time. I shudder at the thought, although I'm sure that part of the country is rather beautiful. There's a note here as well. Hey there, Spitfire. I thought of you when I saw these, so I snapped them right up. They remind me of the wildflowers in West Texas. Someday I'll take you to see the bloom. But these are roses. Spitfire. I don't know why he insists on using that nettlesome pet name. A porcelain tea set atop a dinette table whose marble is so polished I can see my own reflection. Perhaps I have time to make myself a cup. Yes, when in Rome, as they say, but I have yet to find a tea that keeps my nose from wrinkling. How much should I bribe the concierge to provide me with some coffee beans? A payment equivalent to the royal coffers. I almost regret Lord Beresford introducing me to that wicked ambrosia per his last appointment. The tea's gone cold now, not that it was better when it was hot. Clawfoot tub. For the little garish, there's something about the scroll work and the gilded feet that hits the luxury nail on the head. Spacious tub is the only thing worth the crooked price of this suite. It's the one place where my mind is my own. When I submerge myself past my ears, I feel weightless, like a raindrop in free fall. Optimistic again. Traveling trunks. Yeah, the cat's in the Sarah Square, I think. All packed up and ready to go if I ever manage to leave. Maybe I could just hide in the biggest trunk and no one would find me. Ah, yes, it's a bit small for a coffin, but I've seen smaller. Writing ball. State-of-the-art Malling-Hansen writing ball. My dearest Silas, I greatly admire and respect you. I am truly honored by your efforts and hope to follow your example. Yours, Clara Reed. Sigh, if only I could send it. A well-loved telescope aims a glossy lens to the heavens. Astronomy suits you as your humble hobby. Perhaps turn the scope to the buildings below. What knowledge could I learn from those who think no one is watching? Though tempting, it is ultimately futile. Do I expect a murderer to parade his crime in front of an open window? I shall do no such thing. I am no peeping Tom. Okay. The most comfortable and expensive place I've ever slept. Worth every penny. Alright, is that it for here? Just I think like 2.5, maybe close to 3 hours. Pretty much in so far. Oh, I thought that there was something I saw here. Country house overlooking a lake beneath a gloomy gray sky. A castle on a hill at sunrise. It calls to mind faraway places. Opulence, prestige, pretension. That's as far as you can go, huh? Okay. Okay. Yeah, a bit less, but I didn't get started right away. Probably about 2 hours and 25 minutes then. Alright, so there's the bell jar. Oh, there's a preacher, too. Yeah, that guy. Let me talk to him. Blessings upon you, dear soul. I'm Eli McBride, here to heed the Lord's word. I would have thought you'd have better things to do than preach to someone of my stature, Father. Nonsense, my child. As Jesus taught us to forgive the sinful woman who anointed his feet, the one to whom little is forgiven loves little. He calls not the righteous, but the sinners to repentance. So he's calling me, is that what you're saying? I have no regrets. I regret nothing this preacher would blame me for, at least. Of course not. Again, Jesus tells us, let the one who is without sin cast the first stone. It is not my place to pronounce judgment upon you. Many of your ilk take delight in such pronouncements. Alas, I will not say you were wrong. Yet another teaching of Jesus tells us that we must remove the log from our own eye before we can help take the speck from our neighbors. Those who flaunt their piety before others will receive no other reward. But isn't that what you're doing now? Wisely answered. Perhaps. Yet you are the one who came to speak to me, are you not? Think about that, Father. Blessed are those who hear the word of God and keep it. Alright, that's everything but this. Oh, look at this. Red Lantern Lane. Red Lantern Lane is so named for the color of the paper lanterns above the street. Like a carnival, the thinnest veneer of gaudy spectacle conceals a grimy reality. Ornate facades, raucous shouts, and 1,000 different smells all compete for one's attention. It pays to keep a weather eye out for danger in this neighborhood. What are those hunched shadows in the alleyways? Vagrants in need of a warm fire, or a gang of thugs waiting for a mark? Possibly something more sinister and twisted. But in the daytime, at least, you needn't worry about being clubbed from behind or getting snatched by some organ trader's lackeys. A pair of pickpockets working in tandem is the worst you'll encounter as long as the sun is up, and you're far too clever to be duped by such as they. More gears and cogs. I have a lot of these gears and cogs now. The home of Teddy Redgrave got me out of a bind during the Frobisher case. Must be out. Bayosi? This must be Bayosi. I believe she worked for Wei Lun till his death, and yet still at it from the looks of it. But she's not aware of her newfound freedom. Then again, Dolores does check on her occasionally, liking ensuring Bayosi stays put. Welcome, future patron. In the mood for some noodles? What exactly goes into the dishes prepared here? Tender, loving care? Waylon's fond of saying that. I mean, what ingredients go into the meals you serve? I'm sorry, but I'm not at liberty to disclose such things. Secret recipe only known to Waylon. Well, at least there isn't worry about the competition copying the secret to success. That the establishment managed to last this long without human supervision should also count as a huge achievement. By the saints, I suppose I was famished. No harm in treating myself. Please do hear it. Here is one order of Wyland's finest. Must say, this almost makes me want to stay in London. Come again? Oh, nothing. Great meals tend to make me say all sorts of things. Thank you for your patronage. May the food lift your spirits. 75, optimistic. Okay, we're going to spend just another couple minutes, Chad, and then I'm going to wrap up for the evening. Dolores Chen's Machine Laundry is a place Londoners like having their clothes, if not their dirty character, washed and ironed. A presentable look determines fashion and survival. After all, people guard their image and belongings with their lives in a city that would rob them just as well of their reputation as their pocketbook. Stepping into the laundrette, you're accosted by the reek of laundry sacks. Masking the foul odor is the smell of honeysuckle soap preferred by Dolores. From behind the counter is the loud rumbling of laundry manglers, mixers, pressers, and steam washers. The heat from the soaker tubs and ironing boards delivers a wave of steam that beads your brow. The mind might be refreshed by a pithy chat with the sharp-witted Dolores. Stay as long as needed to make yourself new again, hours of operation permitting. Some of these dresses look a bit like Ariana's. This mannequin gets a lot of use posed in whatever garments fit the latest fashion. Laundry vats. Great wooden wash basins. I should hope Dolores never falls in by accident. Dolores can make even the filthiest stain disappear. I wonder if she does the same with secrets. There's something wrong here. Is it poor form to fiddle about without asking? Look right there. A stray gear from another machine has fallen and jammed the mechanism. There, everything in its right place. Alright. Let's talk to Dolores. The indomitable Dolores Chen. A dyed-in-the-wool... Hey, what's up, Seven Seeker? The game's engine does not really allow you to rotate the camera freely. Hold on a second, by the way. I'm in that in-between time right now where it's getting dark and there's a tiny bit of light, but as we go further along, I'll be ending with light in the thing. So no, you can't rotate it all the way around. At least I have not been able to notice how. You can only zoom in so far as well, but I'll try doing it again when I get out of this convo. Well, well, if it isn't the illustrious Clara Reed. What wonderful deed have I done to be deserving your presence? Good day to you too, Dolores. Don't go wasting your charm on me, missy. It won't do no good. Dolores has customers from a range of social classes, but I've heard she gives them all an equal dose of attitude. Dolores is looking a bit frayed around the edges. It must be something big. In the normal course of things, she'd never let it show. What's the matter? I can tell something's got you on edge. Don't bother. I can see you want something plain as day. Let every woman look to her own problems. Okay, so get Dolores to open up. Slightly better than 50-50 chance with intuition, but failure. Yeah. Please, you know you can talk to me. I'm an old bullfrog girl. I'd sooner cut off my own nose than peach on a friend. Anyway, I can read on your face that it's not any legal kind of trouble. Actually, I'd best handle it on my own, doll. You're not as slick as you used to be. No, I can't let this chance slip away. You and I both know if you could handle it on your own, you'd have done so already, Dolores. You're right that I want something. Why don't we help each other? All right, fine. I need more graft to get the bobbies off my back. I sell the swag that Molly's Thieves is lifting, only it ain't coming in like it used to these days. And now every night I've got a constable at the door crying wicked threats. Anybody who's anybody knows Dolores is a fence for Molly and the Hounds. She sews hidden pockets in the Dockhounds' uniforms so they can hit the stores in Kensington. The bobbies turn a blind eye because they get the hush money. Until now, it seems. So you need me to find out why deliveries have dried up? That's right. Maybe I was wrong about you losing your touch. I want you to find old Carlisle McGrady. He keeps the orphans in line for Molly. Might be he needs reminding of the mutual part of our mutually beneficial arrangement. I don't know the name, but I know the type. A lad's man, one who might be getting too big for his breeches. There are a lot of ladsmen in the city, Dolores. How might I find this McGrady? Oh, he fancies himself a dandy, wears an orange cravat and topper, carries a blackjack. I've seen what damage a blackjack might do close at hand, but now's not the time for unpleasant memories. Do that for me and I'll see about getting you what you need. If Dolores is having cash flow problems, it's no good asking her for the money I need. But she's got connections. Might be she can help in another way. I need you to get some new papers for me. Oh, now that is something I can help with. No better than to ask why you want him either. You get Peter Kipling off my back and you'll walk away a new woman. Dolores is shrewd, but she'll be as tight-lipped with my secrets as she is with her own. I can trust her. Thanks, Dolores. Yes, yes. You'll find the lad's men loitering about Sora Square if he ain't in the sewers. Now off with you. Sora Square. Oh, yeah, sorry, I wanted to check this camera. So pretty much no. You can zoom in like this and zoom out, but that's it. If Red Lantern Lane is full of unseemly sights, then the bathhouse is something of an oasis. The smell of jasmine and sandalwood flow from the entryway, and you're hit with a wave of steam as you step inside. The inviting bathwater calls out to your tired bones. Red wallpaper and bamboo paneling divide the room in portions, and a changing room is lushly appointed for all denominations of clientele. The calming incense is impossible to resist, but be careful with your footing. The floor tiles are slick. A drapery of steam collects along the baseboards and curls up the patterned wallpaper. Let the steam into your lungs with a deep breath. Here you may wash away the discomforts of the day or drown your worries in the libations at the back bar. Yes, I am planning on doing that, Crazy Descent. I am planning on playing the whole thing. I wanted to get a sense of it first, but I will take that. This is where I came with, what's his face? With Atticus. Hot and steamy bath. Lovely to wipe away the grit of the city streets and relax for a bit. Feels as though I've washed away my cares along with the grime, at least for the moment. I now have 85. I am hopeful. What's up, Centaur Bouncer?
Slow down a there, tick there, miss.
My name is Ms. Reed, sir.
Right, yeah. Sorry, Ms. Reed, but females ain't allowed in the dreaming area.
Is there some secret and invisible force that draws fools to me or vice versa? And why, pray tell, are women forbidden to enter an opium den? It can't be concern for our health.
Actually, in a manner of speaking, it is. Most of the customers is men, and we don't want them taking advantage of you while you're, dreaming.
So much for hospitality.
Boss's orders, sorry.
I already did that, right? Okay. I was trying to get through this one little section. I was actually hoping I could get to chapter 3 today, just so I could introduce that last character, but once went to that part of town, folks there were surprisingly welcoming. Wager they treasure any visitors they can get, seeing as they're overlooked by most Londoners. 90, hopeful. I wonder what I get when I get to 100. Still closed? Okay. Yes, the rest of the game is going to be streamed here. Let's see. I need to go to Sara Square because I need to find the Ladsman. So I'm going to try to play this on, on GOGCOM. I'm going to be playing it more next week and play through it. I think this is going to be fun. So, but let's see. All right, I have Eli McBride as the preacher. Who am I looking for? What's his name? Carlisle McGrady, right. And he's somewhere in Saurus Square. I remember seeing a cop here somewhere. I know I saw a cop someplace around here. Aha! Alright, last encounter of the day. Sallow-faced, reeking of gin, carrying a cane and blackjack. The ladsman, no doubt. Carlisle McGrady, I presume? Who's asking? Clara Reed. Dolores Chen sent me. Yeah, what you want? I want to know why your fence can't afford to pay off the bobbies at her door. They should be asking her that, not me. I must convince the ladsman to listen to me. I have a very easy skill check. Let's go. Success. Up to 100, all I got was this lousy t-shirt. But I am asking you. It ain't my fault, right? It's these good-for-nothing urchins. Slightest hit of trouble and they run for cover. You seem like an intelligent man. If you can't guarantee the children's protection, what do you think will happen to your cut? Suppose there's some truth in what you say. Just do your job, and everyone profits. All right, bloody hell, woman. There's no need to harp on me anymore. I'll get it done. Okay, successful negotiation. Oh, that was easy. Okay, wait. I didn't know it was going to be that quick. All right, let me get back to her and just turn that in so I don't forget. I lied. Okay, Red Lantern Lane. Can I travel to... Oh, it doesn't let me. Okay. I was hoping I could actually also travel directly to the place, but I can't. Okay, here we are. Run, run, run. Okay, enter the laundry. Guess what, Dolores? I got what you need. It all worked out. Lovely to see you, Clara. Have you taken care of the thorn in my side? Carlisle McGrady sees the error of his ways. Oh, indeed? Well, color me impressed. I suppose it's time for me to hold up my end of the bargain. I had those papers done up like you asked. Thanks, Dolores. And here they are. All the documents and identification I need to start fresh in a new life. Now all I need is the tin to make the voyage. And before you go, here's another item I believe may be of interest. A Brise fan? It's gorgeous, and impossible to find even in London. Oh, thank you, Dolores. I'm almost tempted to say it's too much. Almost. You really helped me out of the bind, dear Clara. I won't forget it. Having the gratitude of Dolores Chen is no small thing. Anything for you, Dolores. Yeah, don't rub it in. That's more like it. So we got another fan. I finished that, so we have the last of London. Got to find out more about that. Been doing a lot with the fans. So let's see. The Velvet Rose upstairs at the Palladium. Question is, where the heck is the Palladium? But maybe I'll find that when I get into the station. But we won't know that until next time. Still not here. Okay. So the next time we play, we'll be doing that, is what we're going to be doing next. But now... Very cool. This is very cool. I am enjoying this so far. I think this is neat. Whoop. I lost... whoa. That's not what I meant to do. All of a sudden I lost GOG Galaxy. Oh, that's not a good sign. It just closed. Oh, is there one? Let me make sure that I didn't just lose what I just did. Well, I saved it, so it probably is fine. But I think... oh, right there. Yeah, that's what I thought. Let me hold on a second. It didn't sync up, so give me a second here. Yeah, I got to reload it. That's cool. Yeah, I am enjoying it. I'm going to reload this, reload that game because GOG Galaxy, like, crashed. Okay. Okay, let's do that. Click to continue. Escape. Quit. Okay. Exit to desktop. Okay, now let's make sure that it syncs up here. So it's a little weird because I've definitely played more than an hour and 16 minutes. So that's a little strange. I mean, I've only got 2. That's really odd. I wonder why it did that. I played like 3 hours, not an hour and 15 minutes. And, interesting. I mean, it has both of my achievements that I got so far. It definitely reloaded properly. But, I don't know. That's odd. Okay, well, I suppose it doesn't matter for right now, but I'm going to have to figure that out at some point because that's a little strange. However, it did the job. Yeah, I mean, it could, but I don't know why. I mean, how long are we talking that it would take? I shouldn't have to leave it up for an hour or, for like 5 minutes. It did have the synchronizing there, like it's synced up, but it still only had the hour and 15. So anyway, not a big deal. It is not a big problem. Okay, so that, yeah, it could be. I mean, it saved the game, which is the most important thing, so I'm not that worried about it. All right, well, that, folks, is going to do it for me for today. I had a good time with this. I hope you folks enjoyed it as well. I think this is an interesting game. I think I like what it's doing. I like the idea of a game that is based on choice and skill building that doesn't just rely on combat, as people have said. It's got a very Disco Elysium feel, but it doesn't feel quite as overwhelming. Probably the writing of Disco Elysium is a little more subtle than this, but the writing of this is not unsubtle. It's not bad writing, but it's going to be, yeah. Yeah, exactly. Exiting seems to be dangerous, so I better just be careful about, like, I mean, I saved it. So, I mean, I saved it, and I also had quick saved it too. So I think there's enough that it's covered, but a little wonky. But I'm going to be playing more of this next week. On Tuesday, next Pen and Pixels, I will be playing more of Sovereign Syndicate, and getting a chance to get more about it and learning about that third character that we haven't met. I assume I will run into them next time. You had no issues with the Steam version. Hey, listen, Caro, okay? You know the drill. It's about GOG here, okay? GOG.com. That's what matters. Anyway, so I am going to head on out of here. But as a quick note, Kilgore will be coming at you in a few hours on this channel with some Deus Ex. And I will be over on my own channel in about an hour and 35 minutes or so. I guess an hour and 40 minutes, roughly speaking, for some Banner Saga 3 with the Our Vocalists. So that, again, is another GOG game. Fully voiced with KP and Indy and Rem and Zach. So my voice acting team will be there in spades tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern, playing more of the Banner Saga 3. Highly recommend that if you have a chance to actually stop by. I would love to see you all there. And then I'll be back on my own channel. Now, there is the possibility, there is something that may have come up on Thursday. I was planning to play Final Fantasy VII Rebirth on Thursday, but there has been something that may have come up that may mean I may not be able to stream on Thursday night. I don't know. If not, I'm definitely streaming on Saturday, and that will be a number of hours playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. So that's going to be a good time. And yes, thank you, Echo. That is my link to my channel. Please do follow me over there. Would love to see any or all of you there. And I'm looking forward to playing more of this game, Sovereign Syndicate, next week. If you like what you saw and heard, please follow the channel. Always a pleasure, Carol. Please follow the channel. Please subscribe to us here on GOG.com's Twitch channel. Thank you for the follow on my channel, Crazy Descent. And if you haven't already done so, please consider as well clicking through to our channels, just like Crazy Descent just did, and subscribing and supporting the Patreon and subbing to us over there, because we have our own individual subsystems and all that kind of good stuff as well. You're flying back home for the weekend on Thursday. That works for me. Oh, yes. If I don't talk to you before that, safe travels, Hillness, and I hope you feel better. And otherwise, my pleasure, Seven Seeker. I enjoy this stuff very much. So that's it for now. Thanks, everybody, so much for being here. I will see you folks on my channel later tonight, or on either Thursday if I'm streaming, or not, then Saturday on my channel. Kilgore will be here in a few hours to play some Deus Ex, and I'll be right back here next week for episode 416 of Pen and Pixels with more Sovereign Syndicate. Until I see you, and whatever I see you, please, everyone, have a lovely evening. Everyone be good to each other, and I'll catch you all soon. Bye for now.